We're good.
If anyone's out there, we are setting up streaming to 2 locations at once. Twitch,
Yeah.
normal, and our YouTube channel.
I'm hearing us through multiple things.
Got to mute the site.
I muted
Where'd
YouTube.
my
I
chat
muted
go?
Twitch.
Haven't been in chat yet.
Is anybody in chat?
I don't see anybody in chat.
We're both in chat.
We're in chat. All right, there's 2
Let's
people
do
in
a chat test. Ooh. It shows up in our streaming software.
Oh, it does where?
Live comments, not the
nice.
private chat.
Oh, that is all right. Even better. Now we don't have to have the pop-out chat.
Exactly.
Ooh, good call on connecting that.
Me likey.
I do too. That's nice. Awesome. I wonder if it'll show like the
Hey,
Frosty.
Dev.
Frosty, we connected. We set up StreamYard. Now they have direct connection to Twitch. So we set that up instead of RTMP connection, and now it brings in the chat directly into StreamYard. So pretty cool.
It's very cool.
Try that yet. Maybe you already knew. Maybe you already tried it. We haven't done it yet, but this is the first time. Pretty cool.
New year, new experience. Oh wait, I got my
Yeah, it is a new feature of StreamYard, and StreamYard now supports with the regular first paid level. You can stream to 2 different sources at once. Ooh, you got your light, huh?
Yeah, it's killing me.
Nice.
I want to turn it down. I can't see it. I can't see anything. It was way too bright.
Yeah, here's the tip that I learned about like the light up there. When you turn it on, don't look straight at it when you're turning it on.
Oh, holy smokes. Oh. Cool.
Ooh, Frosty asked, can you schedule events on Twitch again yet? I don't know. I haven't looked.
Hey, can you bring in the chats, like show them as like messages down at the bottom? I saw Frosty do that on YouTube. It was pretty slick.
In the view here?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if StreamYard lets you do that or not.
I think that's what he was doing. Oh, YouTube comments you can.
Oh, here, look. Show.
Boom. Look at you go. Can I do that too or no?
I don't know. When you hover over a chat message, can you click? Is there a show?
No.
Probably not, because they only let one person drive.
Yeah, you're the StreamYard boss.
I know. That's the next feature I want them to have is the ability to add multiple runners, right, managers to the app, so that people can be logged in and control overlays and stuff. That's cool though. That's cool about the integrated chat. Now we can just bring that over and in. Cool.
I agree.
Very cool. I like it.
So I've got some bad news.
We're starting off with, all right. Well, I guess we started off with some good news with this whole new streaming stuff. Okay. Bad news, huh?
Yeah. So Frosty's asking what we're talking about tonight. We don't know, but I did open up what we streamed about most recently, which was the event service called NGX Evently. And I have no idea where we left off. That's the bad news. I have no idea.
I think we just started creating the first little service.
Is that what it was?
Maybe I'll remember when I look at it.
Because I've got it up. Oh, I got all kinds of things I need to do. I need to start up a VS Code live share session.
Yeah. Frosty's writing some Scully code. Did we schedule a time to do that? I know we scheduled a time on Angular Air for you to come on, Frosty, and talk about Scully, the static site generator for Angular that you and your
he's going to come on for that? I like that.
Yeah.
We should do it on here too.
I think we were talking about that. We're going to hack around on it one time for one of the streams here. And Frosty can come on and we can put together a site. Maybe we need to put together like a NGBS site, static site in Angular.
I like it.
So what's your bad news?
That was my bad news. Is that I completely forgot where we were.
Oh, that was your bad news. That's not so bad news.
It's not horrible. No.
We can recover from that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we can just like read the code, I guess.
Yeah, we could probably that might be something we could do. Yeah.
Dig it.
All right. Did you send me my live share link to join
I
yours?
did. I was like, you know what? I really want some Justin in here.
All right. I'm coming in. Diving into the codes. Live share could not be launched.
I had to log in again. I had to re-authenticate to the Giddy Hubs.
Did you update to Catalina?
I am Catalina'd.
I wonder if that's it. I don't think we've done this since I've updated to Catalina'd.
Uh-oh.
You want to hear a cool story about Catalina? Catalina
Yeah.
Island?
Tell me all about her.
So I'm pretty sure this island in the desktop background for Catalina for the Mac OS is the Catalina Islands that are right off the coast from where I live. And back when I was in, what grade was it? I think it was 6th grade. And I was living in Ventura, which is right there. You can see the islands from Ventura right there.
That sounds
We're
awesome.
not too far off the coast. And there was we did this event for the school where there was this theme in the park where there was a kind of a Renaissance thing going on in the park, but it was kind of like a little small parade and everything. There was all about like marine life and things like that.
Right.
And our class did a thing on humpback whales. So we made this like paper mache humpback whale costume for like 13 kids. And there was just like the whale was cut in segments, and each segment a kid would hold it over their head, right? And we painted this big ass mural with these two big like PVC pipes, and the mural was the sea. And so kids would walk down the sidewalk holding the mural, and we'd walk as the whale, all 13. I got to be the head of the whale, so I was stoked. And it was all 13, and we would go up and then go down, so it looked like the whale was breaching.
That is awesome.
And so we did that. And we won this contest. In the contest, we got a trip in a boat to go around around Anacapa Island, which is one of the islands down there. And it was pretty cool. So that was my story.
That is awesome. I got nothing cool like that. The only thing I know about Catalina is the Catalina wine mixer. But that's a very different thing.
Yeah.
Remember that Step Brothers?
Or Step Brothers, yeah.
The effing Catalina wine mixer. You haven't gotten into live share yet?
I have not. I was telling my story. All right, let's see.
What the heck? Why can't I see the chat in the view that I'm in?
Uh-oh, what did I sign in with? I think
if I have my Twitch window small, why can't I see the chat? I'm not digging
on
this
the
at all.
Twitch site.
I'm on the I have the Twitch thing open. I want to open the chat so I can participate in the chat. Because that's one thing we can't do is write back.
Oh, you can't inside of StreamYard, you can't post?
No.
You want to see the chat?
I got nothing. It's all you.
That's a
Still
bummer.
need my Twitch chats. I'll just read. I'll read.
You can do it from the dashboard on Twitch.
I can't do that kind of stuff.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. Yeah, I could reply in Twitch, but then that's another window I have to have open. And window management's not my thing. I got code to worry about, and it's enough. I'm done. We had a demo app?
Yeah, I think we had a demo app to start. I think we added all kinds of things. I don't think there was much in there.
I'm looking.
We miss you too, Frosty. That's why we want to do it. It's just the vibes of hanging out. Maybe we'll do some stuff. Maybe we won't. Maybe something magical will happen. Maybe nothing magical will happen. But we all get to hang out together.
Yay! What is this? Where are we using this? We're not consuming it in the demo app. I think we just created it.
Yeah, I think we just set it up, right? I don't think we started using the service yet.
We wrote tests.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've got that. I mean,
okay, so maybe we should talk about what we think we're going to do right now. I don't think we mentioned that.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
We don't know though.
We don't know, but we're looking at something and we haven't even shared the live share link. Like I think Frosty's the only one in here and he doesn't have any idea what we're talking about right now. So
this is true. Oh, we could Scully.
Are you ready to Scully, Frosty? Frosty says we could Scully. We could hack around in some Scully.
I'd be down to Scully.
Born ready.
On-demand demo wins.
That's some slash first right there. Gets the pick of what we're gonna do.
I think that's tweet worthy though.
Oh well, of course we'll have to tweet about it if we're gonna do it. You want to do it?
I'm on board.
What are we gonna build? We figure that out.
We could just start building. Do you want to start building an NGBS site?
I mean, we can. What content would go on there?
What do we
want to put on there on the static site?
It's a good point. I have no idea.
Maybe Frosty has an idea of something.
He may have a site to just play with too. Now, here's a question.
Yes.
And I'll ask this directly to you.
Yes.
Him off the side.
My answer.
How do we want to handle this? Do we want to let him drive and demo? Or do we want him to use his voice commands to control us and we get to do it and we do it hands-on?
Force him to run the live share code?
No.
First time on BS, you must code. You must run the live share.
Yeah.
Rule number 2 of NGBS.
Oh, he wants us to drive.
All right. We can do that.
All right. If that's the case, then okay. I will.
I think he wants you to drive. Yeah, he wants you to drive. That's what he said.
Okay. How do I close my folder?
All right.
Oh, I just closed VS Code. Yeah, you want to get him the link?
Yep, I'll get him the link.
I'll get a VS Code thing all squared away.
And we got to tweet about it.
Oh, I should. He's never VS Code. Oh, we don't. Oh, we got you covered. What is this? Tweet feedback? Nope. All right. You don't need to be VS Code and we'll be good. Oh, he's installing the latest VS Code. Awesome. All right. What are we going to go to? We're going to call this Scully Play. I was going to scale up a project while we were doing everything else.
All right. Well, let's think. Do we want to try and do what would we do? What we could, one of the things I was thinking we could do if we did an NGBS site is we could kind of put content on there on the libraries that we're building.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm just going to I'm tweeting now too.
Oh, he's in. Yeah, we got to tweet too.
Yeah, tweet. OMG.
What up, guys?
What's going on, man?
Oh, yo.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. You guys ready to do some Scully?
Yeah. Well, kind of. we're trying to decide what content to put in and what we're going to do.
Well, I mean, you can start with just like doing like a landing and then kind of get your
Yeah.
You get a way for you to start adding your weekly episodes in, and we could kind of talk through how you want to do that, so that then you could redeploy every week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, we were just mentioning that we could do like we're building some libraries and stuff like that, so we can make it the home for kind of mentioning those libraries and things like that.
Yep, you could do that too.
Cool.
So we could just do it. I mean, you could do a real crude one just so you can kind of see how it all pre-renders and
Yeah.
kind of see the advantages to it.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do that.
Should we do it?
Yeah,
Do it.
Mike, are you setting up a? What are we going to do? Like is it like use Angular CLI, bring it into the Angular CLI? How do you look at? Should I read the manual?
So no, for Scully.
Yeah.
So should we say what it is? Because some people might not even know.
We can. I think we have like 2 people in here right now.
No, there's 6. We're up to
Oh,
6,
yeah.
bro.
Oh, 6. Okay.
Right? Or am I wrong?
I don't know.
11.
Oh, wait, hold on. I missed. Bad tweet out. Bad tweet.
11 now.
I did
Yeah, we got,
NVDS.
I'm gonna say, hey, yo, let me tweet this out. Say, hey, dude.
Hold on. I'm gonna get a tweet out there for you.
Surprise appearance.
Codephobia says we came here for Angular. Good. We're going to build static site with Scully, which is built for static sites for Angular. And Scully. Oh, you're here for Scully too. Yeah, hey, I hear you. Gooey Goobler says sup. Sup. Mike, now we've got 2 chats. We've got the YouTube's chat and the Twitch chat. How are we going to manage that?
Oh, you guys got 2 chats up in here?
Well, we're streaming to YouTube as well at the same time to test the multi.
Yeah, this way we have our archive over there.
Oh yeah. No, that's true.
Codephobia says I saw
Codephobia
Frosty in the
is
stream and assumed it was about Scully.
Must be about Scully.
Sweet.
That's all he does anymore.
You're no one trick pony though.
He won't stop talking about it, bro. Hey, here's the thing. I didn't even know why static sites were cool, and then once I learned, I was like, whoa, this is gonna change Angular. Once I was like, what does it do? And I saw it. It's like, this is the Angular community doesn't even know. You know, like some people know. I had no idea, and I was like, they don't even know. Once they know, this is gonna change Angular. So yeah, this is cool.
So what's the name of the project we're creating?
NGBS site.
All right, hold on. Let me do this. Share screen, application window, VS Code. You can go ahead and bring that in.
We got to take our logo off too.
Let's see.
Love that logo though.
It's cool, huh? Mike,
I gotta tell you, you kind of inspired that there, bro.
Me? How did I possibly inspire that?
It came from Hero Devs. I love the HD in that, and I was like, oh, dude, we need our BS in there.
I used to present about RxJS and name all my variables BS at the like, you know, user BS, and for all the behavior subjects. So I thought you.
All right, let's do this. Then we're gonna go with this. We're gonna go Scully AF.
Yeah, there you go. Scully AF. Boom. How do I get into a live share?
So let me scale up the project first, and I need to set up my VS Code so that it is up to this directory. Do we want to add routing? Of course we do.
Do I have to install the live share thing?
Yeah, you need that extension.
Yeah, the extension.
Okay. Install.
You have to authenticate.
Oh, geez, that's happening. Share. Should I click the share now button? Share now. Sign in with. I'll sign in with the GitHub.
Let's go. I'm going to have a little bit of a delay as I run through the npm install here anyway.
Yeah, I'm in, man.
As I do this, I don't have a folder open. So what I'm going to do is I am going to open a new terminal here, cdng gbs.
Sorry.
What I call it, Scully if, and then if I open up this and use -r to reuse, it should open this folder in this instance of VS Code. Yeah. So I'm still here. Oh, it's in
So someone asked in the live chat, they're like, "Hey, how does it load the spa in the background?" Can I talk about that real quick? Code Phobia is asking.
Yes, please.
yeah. Well, in a sec though, do we want to
Yeah.
talk about? Do you want to give the intro of what Scully is?
Yeah.
I think
So
we skip that again.
yeah. So you make an Angular app, right? And you want it to be indexable by Google. Some of us, not all of us. Some of us, like, our app lives behind a login, so we don't care, right? It's like, dude, I don't care if this thing's indexed or not. In fact, I'd prefer it not to be, because it's only behind a login. So if you live life as an engineer behind a login screen, this might not matter to you as much. But if you live in a public domain, like on ecom site or any like a blog, any sort of ecom or CMS based thing, you're gonna love this. So Angular, I mean, I'm guessing everyone who's watching this probably likes Angular, at least like more than 50% love, hate. Like, I love it, right? And I know you guys love it too. So but it's just like all front-end frameworks, it's a little bit big when you download an Angular app. Even the smallest hello version, yeah. It's like, I don't know, still like 300 or 400K. And on a mobile device on 3G, that could take 4, 5, 6, 10 seconds, right, to load. And that sucks. 7, 8 seconds to load your website on a mobile device. I mean, you're dead. But if you render it statically, I can load any of your pages. I can render it to HTML that's only about, I don't know, 50K. And then when the user loads your site, they get the first view, boom, 50K. And then the spa loads behind it, right? And then once you have the spa, it's now from that point on, it's Angular. So the first view appears immediately. And then after that, Angular just kind of loads on top of the page. And depending on what you've done, you may see a flash, which is so it's kind of the same as Angular Universal. You can get a flash of content as you have the page, and then Universal bootstraps, like the spa bootstraps, the content goes away and comes back after. Like, so you get a lot of you have a lot of the same paradigms that you get with Universal. It serves a different purpose than Universal, and a lot of the purposes that Universal serves, I feel like it serves them better. So that's a lot of kind of how it works. But in there, one second, I'm gonna cough. In your Angular app, Bronco, Swart, have either of you gents done a Universal page, a site?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys know it's and any of the listeners, if you have too, you know it's a distinct flavor of Angular, right? Like, it's a reduced scope of what you can and can't do in your code, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Because you're running in an isomorphic environment. You're running on Node where there is no document. Like, you can't talk to documents and stuff. So jQuery plugins and all any third-party library you depend on probably won't work, because most Angular NPM stuff isn't universal ready, right?
Yeah.
But with Scully, we render inside Puppeteer. So all that concern about universal and Node kind of out the window. So sorry.
Hold on. You mentioned Puppeteer. And my understanding of what Puppeteer is, because I haven't used it directly, apparently I'm going to in a little bit here. But Puppeteer is basically a JavaScript library that allows you to control Chrome.
It's a headless Chrome. It's a headless Chrome, I guess, to say it, lack of a better term. And you can say show me Chrome, but for the purposes of Scully, it's turned off. So yeah, there's a couple of things you have to do though. Like, it has to be able to find all the routes in your app, which it largely does, but you have to help it on some of it. And then once it knows all the routes, it will just render them, and you can add extra plugins to get extra data in your routes. Like, if you've ever done Gatsby, there's a lot of the same paradigms from Scully to Gatsby. So if you've never done static site generation in a JavaScript framework, it's all new though. And so no question is silly. Feel free to ask.
Nice. Cool.
But just know there's a way to write your code where it can hit your CMS and your APIs during build time to get the data and cache it so that you don't actually have to ship your CMS or your database with its APIs into production. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
So
if I had some sort of configuration, whatever, living behind an API, or maybe a JSON file or something like that, that I could handle it that way.
Yeah, or like let's say your blogs live in markdowns on GitHub. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Don't ship that to production. Leave that as a markdown inside your repo, build it and ship it. Or if you sell, let's say you sell donuts and they live inside of a database or a Google spreadsheet, and you don't want to make that spreadsheet publicly accessible for production, right? Then you like actually beyond that, Google will rate limit you amount of requests you hit to your Google spreadsheet a day, right? So you couldn't actually use a spreadsheet as a database for donuts for a production website because you'd get rate limited by Google. But if you Scully built your site and said, hey, at build time, pull the donuts out of the spreadsheet, build the site, and then once we ship to production, that's all cached, so you don't ever hit the server ever again to request that data. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So yeah, there's a way you can just fetch the data at build time that totally changes your dependencies on your CMS. Like if you have a CMS, it's like if you're under this many reads a day, you're free. It's like cool. I'm always going to be under that many reads per day,
Unless you do like thousands of releases.
Exactly. So if you're CI/CD like 100 times a day, well, maybe, but other than that, like there's a lot of real code savings. There's a lot of real API savings and a lot of security savings. You get security because you're not shipping those things to production, right?
Right.
So you don't have to worry about someone hacking the database and bringing you down or SQL injecting, or you guys know what I'm talking about with that stuff. And then not to mention your conversion should go through the roof because your page load time just went from 5 seconds on mobile to less than 1. So there's a lot of advantages. So Codephobia said, what are the limits like with filtering and large data sets? I don't really understand the question, but like, let's say there's a large data set, like people in my town. I'm a creeper. I want to list all the people in my town, right? Like I somehow have a list of them. Like that.
Let's not use that example.
No, but that'd be hundreds of thousands of people, right?
Well, no. How about like we've been doing this live stream? We want to do all of our streams, and we've been doing a stream a day for 50 years.
Okay, stream a day for 50 years. Yeah. So 50 times 365. That's a lot, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I was to build that site, I would have to pre-render 50 times 365 number of pages, right?
Yeah.
So we have to make an API where it can request all the IDs for each of those days and then pre-render each page. So that would be actually pretty easy to do. But then when it renders them, that rendering of the 15,000 pages, or whatever that mathematical equation equates to, that number of pages would be a lot to render. Especially, I don't want to render the one that you guys recorded on day 1 of 50 years ago, right? Like that would be silly. That didn't change.
Yeah.
Unless maybe you change your layout, maybe then you do want to re-render. So it depends on what you want to do.
Yeah.
But if you're like, I only want to re-render this year every single time, well, then you just throw a filter on the Scully config. When you run Scully, you just say, hey, just do these routes. And you can give it a pattern that's like anything that starts with 2020 or anything that starts with 2019, just do that. And then it goes, all right, I'll just render those ones. And so then now you get the power of it with only re-rendering pieces of it. So you can re-render, your CI/CD platform could render in 10 seconds versus having to re-render all 15,000 sites, right? So yeah, like, but every company is going to be different. So yeah. Good questions. We're up to 15 people, by the way, on that live stream.
Bring your friends.
That's just Twitch. Huh? YouTube might be higher, right?
Yeah, maybe. Probably.
We don't publicize YouTube. It's just
kind of
our link on our what's it called on Twitter doesn't even work. It truncates it to our YouTube channel. So I don't know.
So Brocky,
look at that right now.
Are you sharing your live code session, you guy?
Yeah.
How do I see it?
Where's the link? Did you get the link?
Where's that link? That link, bro.
Oh, I see. It does cut it off.
Did you put it in the private chat or am I missing something?
I don't think he's throwing it in there yet.
No, I'm trying to put it some live stream with Popcorn Shirley. That's there. Is that the whole thing? Got it. Save. I'll send that to you on Slack there. Where are you at, bro? There you are. There you go. And I updated our Twitter profile so that our YouTube link works. It was truncated when we pasted. That's what the issue was.
First stream of 2020. Nice. Okay. What's I was the live code, the VS code link though, bro.
Oh, my bad. I'll get you that.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
No. Oh, you know what? I haven't started it yet. So we need to start a collaboration session.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't tell me how many people are. Oh, 3 people on the YouTubes. It's probably me, Schwarty, and Braga. It's probably us, right?
Probably.
All right.
Here's the live share link.
All right.
Justin,
What do I do that? Do I just click on it? I've never done this.
Ask you to open VS Code.
Oh, hello. Hello, my love.
And then I'm going to post that in the Twitches.
I did. I'm in. Joining collaboration sesh. All right, dude. So if you click on something, do I see it?
Yeah. You start out by following the person.
Yeah, so whatever file I'm in, you should be following me. So if I go to editor config or package JSON or TS config, it should bounce along with me.
Okay.
Mine's not, but you can, on the little person at the bottom.
Well, not only that, but up here there's a pin, a drop-down pin. You can click that.
All right, I'm following Brocky. That's what it says. All right, I'll follow Brocky.
All right, and then I'll also come in and make you read write, and we're going to give Justin the same ability. So you guys now have. Right.
I can code in your screen, bro.
Yeah,
so you can code in your VS Code, and it'll change it on his machine.
I'm trying to.
And we'll see it on the screen share. Yeah.
Cannot edit in read-only editor.
Didn't I make you editable? Oh, you should. No, you're good.
Just close the file and open it again or something, maybe?
Yeah, possibly.
No, mine says read only too.
Yeah.
When I open files.
Read only on Mike Brocky.
Oh, it's good now. Took a while to get out here to the West Coast, I guess.
Son of a.
Try it now. Open another file.
I'm in that Midwest, yo. I'm in that Midwest. No love for the Midwest. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm in.
Nice.
Okay. So you have this project. Why don't you NG serve this guy?
Yeah. Your mind's gonna blow. You ready for this?
Yes.
npm run start.
What's your deal, bro?
Keep your hands off the keyboard because what's going to happen is you're going to have a browser pop.
Oh, it's serving on my computer too.
No, it's going to serve on mine, but open up a
portal.
The port, yeah.
Oh, it tunnels it over? That's cool, man.
Yes, sir.
That's a cool feature. Oh, yeah, of course. Say yes.
Justin, do you want to set up live share of or the share session of your browser and you can share the browser?
Holy cool, man. That's cool stuff.
Gooby Goobler just says that I'm hacking you. Did you get your browser to pop?
Yeah, I'm in. I see your junk. Scully AF app is running. That's cool, man.
Yeah, so what you're seeing right now is, let's get rid of hide the terminal. So this is just the placeholder that comes with the CLI.
Yeah. Cool.
So I'm just going to get rid of that. And we're just going to
add your router outlet back in.
I will.
Yeah, okay.
Scully Playground.
All right. Come on. Cody McCode.
I don't
Done.
know.
There we
Just
go.
like I typed it.
Hit a save. I want to see the recompile happen. Boom, it did. Totally happening right now. That's cool. That is cool. All right. So what do you guys, what kind of should we add? I mean, should we add we should add Scully to the project, right?
Yeah. Do we want to make this have at least something on this site or no?
Yeah. I mean, we should probably add some about, like an about page and like a what do you want to have in there? Like an about route?
We can have an about component.
Yeah, we can have about. We can have a one for our projects, open source projects.
Do -- route about. That way we get a whole route. It's lazy loaded and everything.
What?
Yeah. And then do -- module and say app module.
Well, it'll do that by default.
Oh, okay, cool. So
Wait, it'll give us a route for
it'll
it?
give us a lazy loaded module and a lazy loaded route. Yeah.
Get the heck out of here.
Yeah, it's supposed to do it. I don't know why it gave you an error on your CLI.
I'm in version 8. Does that matter?
No. Is it? Are you supposed to generate a module?
I've never done -- route.
Maybe do module instead of C. Do module, and it just creates the whole thing for you. So do M, then do about, and then do -- route about. Oh yeah. So that's what I was saying. You have to do the module too. So do -- module app dot module, and then do D -D.
App dot module, right?
Yeah, and then just do space -D to get the dry run.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. So it creates a route and a component and a routing module and a module.
And then updates the routing module. Okay.
It's free. It's kind of a one-stop thing. So now you've done that route, why don't you add another one called home, and we'll just make that be your default route, your home component.
I'm good with that.
So we got 2 routes in this Angular app, yeah?
I do now.
Okay. So
So we got an app module. I just want to take a look at what it spit out here.
Yeah. There you go.
I guess I should look in the routing model where it actually put those.
Yeah.
And
Solid formatting.
turn on prettier.
Yeah. Bam.
Maybe it didn't recognize it yet?
Do you have to install Prettier in the project? Or is VS Code just prettier for you?
What am I talking about? Oh, what is this? Prettier with an X. I don't know what's going on there.
Anyway. Just who cares, right?
Who cares? Exactly. That's
Yeah.
let it roll.
All right.
Too lazy to load a routes. Got it.
Yeah. So let's just make this be your default route, the home one, right? So you don't actually have to go to home.
Yep.
Is that cool? And then now if you save, we should have should say home works. And then we can, yeah. So we got our app, right? If you add /about, we should have, yeah, there you go. Add some links.
Let's just do whatever. Div with an anchor tag. We're going to do 2 divs, anchor tags. And we actually don't want hrefs, do we?
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Yeah.
I guess href works fine. Or no, we want to do router link, right?
Router link, yeah.
Router link equals nothing is going to be home.
Yep.
And a route. God.
About. Let's try it.
Without the brackets.
Brackets, I forget.
D bracket.
Oh, this here?
Yeah, you don't want no brackets on that. Yeah, good call. Save. All right. Let's try it. About works, homeworks. Okay. So yeah, you got yield Angular app there.
Look at that. Justin, you want to show that? Do you have that up and running locally?
Yeah.
This way I can work off of one screen.
Yeah.
You go to about works. Go to home works. Homeworks.
Beautiful.
Not.
Homeworks. Beautiful. That's awesome. Okay.
But
And then
I don't want to have to worry about that Angular code running every time. How do we make it static?
what do you mean? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Lead in, bro.
Yeah, my bad. Okay. So let's do some Scully. Yeah, let's add Scully in here.
Yeah.
So to start, you just do ng add at Scully.io /init. And this is going to set your project up. So let's do this.
Before we do,
Yeah.
so
Wait, is this Angular 8? Sorry, I think Angular 8 is going to fail. We may have to upgrade to Angular 9 before we do this. Sorry, we're doing the pull request tomorrow to add Angular 8 support. Sorry.
okay. I don't have any source control. I think before I do that, let's do get init.
Commit it.
Yeah, get dot get commit -m.
Initial commit.
All right, now we can see what we change when we do this, right?
Yep. School.io / you're actually, why don't you update to Angular 9 real quick? That's fine. Yeah. Just the CLI on the core, right? Yeah. Dash next at the end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do we need force?
Is it add or is it update?
I ran update.
But you have to, is it ng add or is it ng update? My bad.
It's NG update.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
So I'm not-
Mine says add.
Okay.
I was looking at your screen. Sorry. All right. So we're about to be on 9. So as of tomorrow, you want it to be on 9.
Okay.
As of tomorrow, you can just be on 8.
While this is installing, I'm going to step away. I'm going to grab some water, and I'll be right back.
Yep.
So we've got the home and the about routes with just some content in here. Is the expectation that once we Scully it, that there's going to be like 2 actual static pages, HTML pages?
Yeah, you'll have two HTML pages, and they'll both fully render with JavaScript turned off. So,
and there'll be no Angular in the mix?
if you turn JavaScript off, there will be no Angular. But after you load initially without JavaScript, then the Angular app turns on top.
And so like routing will still be handled by Angular?
Totally. Yep. And
so it's like empowering universal server-side rendering as well as incorporating ways to pull in content at build time.
Yep.
Right. It's a combination of those.
Yeah. It's like having a universal, except with universal, you have to ship a node server to production. So it's kind of like that. So you can kind of build with the same mentality there.
Right.
But you don't have to ship a node server to production.
Right. So it's like an enhancement to, I want to get to universal, right? I want to do server-side rendering, but I don't want to do the rest of the infrastructure setup.
Yeah. I don't want to have to rewrite my app to work with universal, because most Angular apps on Earth will not run in universal. Like,
right.
if people were like, hey, this is cool, let's just do universal instead. I mean, that's going to be a cool story for you.
Yeah.
Getting it to work in universal, if you didn't do it from the beginning, is not simple. Right. And so, I mean, every third-party plugin you have has to be universal ready. Everything you integrate has to be universal ready. So it's not necessarily just going to work. Like universal's tough to make happen.
Right.
But with Scully, we don't care. Like, it's like, no, you're still working. Like, imagine you're in an AngularJS hybrid. You're never going to use universal. Universal's never going to work for you. You're dead.
Right.
Oh, with Scully, this thing doesn't care. This thing will render jQuery plugins. This thing will render AngularJS. It doesn't matter to Scully. So yeah. Which is, hey, Sonic Park's here.
My video was off from Sonic Park because I wanted to go get some water.
Yeah. Yeah, and Codophobia is saying without the limitations of cost universal. I don't know specifically about the limitations and costs that they're talking about, but I totally agree. The costs of Scully are lower on one side, but they're higher on another side. They're higher with, like, imagine you had an Angular Universal app, Swarty, that queried your CMS when the page got rendered through Universal. Okay?
Right.
Because it gets the live CMS data, your site's never stale, right? It always is pulling the latest CMS data. If you did the same thing with Scully, then anytime you save content in your CMS, you also now need to redeploy your website.
Right.
So that's the difference between Universal and Scully here is with Universal, you only redeploy when your code is out of date. With Scully, you redeploy when your code or your content gets out of date. So it is cheaper to run once you've deployed, but you do have to kind of now own a new deployment of, we got to deploy every time the content changes. So we deploy once a day, or we have some hook that hooks into our CMS that redeploys on demand when the content's changed. But yeah, and that will be how Scully, that will be how my team monetizes this big effort to have a killer thing. Is we'll say, hey, we'll just redeploy anytime. We'll write all these hooks to contents that redeploy Scully for you. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
So yeah. Anyway, what's happening, Brocky?
Sorry, it's two different terminals. Our project has been updated. I just want to look at what's changed.
In the 9?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're AOT.
Yeah.
And this AOT that I believe is the production configuration. So it's always AOT.
Yeah.
That's one change. Package JSON. Obviously, our versions are changing here.
Yep.
That all makes sense.
Yep.
Node version, blah, 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 Codalizer. And our TS config changed.
Include type files. That is interesting.
That is very interesting.
Huh. That's interesting. I don't know why they would have done that. Anyway, all right.
It did.
They were auto committing the upgrade, which was weird. So it's nice they didn't auto commit that.
Yeah, I'm happy about that as well. Good change, Angular team.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got those changes.
Ask if it's easy to trigger those rebuilds and cherry pick routes to redeploy. I think we talked about the filtering routes, right?
Yeah. You can give it a route filter and say, hey, only rebuild these routes, certain routes. So if you're on for small people like us, we're building our blogs, we're building our podcasts and stuff, right? Doesn't really matter.
Right.
But for big companies, which we're implementing a giant company right now, and that company, that route filter totally matters for them, right? Yeah, because every team has its own deployment lane, and every team only wants to re-render certain routes.
So one of the things I think about when I go, okay, my mind goes, okay, static site with Angular. What I get excited about, the thought of, hey, I want to build a site where I have content on it that I can manage, but not like through a database or through something else, right? I just want to write the content in my HTML, in my markup. But I want to have the power of and the joy of Angular to do things in like a component world, or maybe use of the routing and things like that. So when I think static site with Angular, I think, can I, just build my content right in there, right? But then get the performance, remove the overhead of Angular, right, in that sense, in some way.
So I mean, if you wanted to, Schwarty, you could write an Angular. You could write a plugin to Scully that after the render, it removes the links to the JavaScript. You could do that. And then anyone who went to any of your pages with any of the links, they would just get pages with links only, and they wouldn't get these script tags. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you could totally do that, and it would be easy. Trust me. Like, you'd be like, dude, that was easy. That took me 10 minutes to figure out.
Right.
And then the only thing you'd have to make sure is, does your site work with no JavaScript? Does it work as a static site? And as long as you just have a tags with hrefs or router links in Angular that get turned into hrefs, then you're good, man. Like that's going to work perfect.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And so then the other part of that would be like, so for example, I have my short story site that has my writing stuff on it. It's just one page, but like, I want to have a couple pages, right, where you can dig into a separate story or whatnot. And I would love to use Angular for that because that's the world I live in, right?
Yeah.
But it's not going to be that complex. So, but what I'd like to do is I'd like to write that content. But one of the things I love in web development is using Markdown to write static content, right? So what I'd really love to do is be able to build a site in Angular, but write the content for it in Markdown, but still live in my Angular project app, right?
That's this.
Yeah. So is there a solution for writing files in Markdown inside of my repository, inside my project, and then
we have a schematic for it. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So, Brocco, did you do the Scully ad yet?
I have not done that. I didn't want to do that with everybody without you guys.
Yeah, that's cool. Sorry.
I do. But what I did do is I did reserve the application to make sure that after updating 9, we were still good there. And
so we're in 9 now. Cool. Yeah, it works on my computer. I'm seeing it. Yeah, cool.
Yes. So we're good.
Codophobia, will Scully play nights with NX repos? Yeah, the pull request got merged today that makes the schematics work with NX mono repos. So yeah, totally. That's a good question.
Sweet. All right.
What did you have to do on that to make it work?
Actually, Jorge did it, and he said he laughed at himself. He's like, that was so stupid. It was so easy. I was like, oh, cool. So apparently it wasn't hard to make it work well with mono repos.
Yeah, because it's like, what was it? Was it the ng add or something?
It was part of the init schematic. Other than that, everything works the same. So yeah, running Scully.io init adds it to your project, and I think the community has added some prompts in here real quick. So let's try it.
Yeah, NX is just the Angular CLI.
Yeah.
Under the hood. So, when you do the Angular app side of it, right? Or you just pick it up.
Yeah.
Choose to do it,
So this is kind of walking through getting everything installed. It installs 3 node packages, the Scully init, and then Scully itself, and then the Scully Angular library. All right. Those are the 3 packages that will drop, though they're going to appear in your package JSON when we're done.
Oh, this is different. That change is unimportant.
Yeah, that change was done by the CLI. Yeah,
I did that. I said, hey, it's cool to take analytics.
Yeah.
Because sharing is caring, right?
Sharon's Karen. Sharon is Karen? Sharon is Sharon.
And Karen is Karen.
And Karen is Karen.
009.
What how does Puppeteer come into play? Is it
so there's kind of a 2-part process to these projects that render your site. The first part is I got to discover all of ye old routes in your app. And then the second part is now that I have those, I have to go walk them and render them. So that's kind of the build process. And the first part is one part that you get concerned about once you start having route parameters like user/user ID. So user/1, user/2. How do I tell Scully I have these user IDs I want you to go to? So we have to build a router plugin that teaches it how to get your user IDs for your system. And then the other part is now Scully has to go render all those different routes that it created. You know what I'm saying? Because when you have user/user ID with a route param, that could be a million users, right? Or in your guys' case, if we've been doing this podcast every day for 50 years, that's 15,000 routes. So I have to go find that pod or that NGBS ID for which episode, the episode ID. And then I have to tell Scully, hey, crawl that route once for every ID in there. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the two parts of this thing. Anyway, it's still installing.
Are you calling my machine slow?
I mean,
we're waiting for that. Hey, we need to give Codephobia a shout out. They rated us 40 minutes ago, brought some viewers over. So appreciate that.
Oh, wow.
Didn't even
nice.
We don't have enough integration.
How do I do a raid, yo? People aren't following me, but I want to raid this thing. Channel. Going to there. How do I do a raid?
Anybody who's watching you right now and brings it over in. So I don't know if you're streaming too right now.
Should I go live? How do I do it?
I don't know.
I mean, I have like 307 followers.
Do you have another webcam? You can set up multiple cams, like a sporting event.
Channel, video producer.
Camera 1, camera 2. I can't close my other eye.
Ooh. Codephobia mentioned you guys a custom schematic and builder working for NX today.
Sweet.
I haven't written any schematics inside of an NX monorepo for usage within there. I want to do that. I want to play with that, but I haven't had the need or the desire to do that. Oh, not so much the desire, the need to do that.
Yeah, I wanted to do that, but I haven't had the desire to do it.
Yeah, words are hard.
How do I raid this thing? I want to raid you guys. How do I do it?
I think you have to end a stream and basically say, hey, when that stream is over, go watch here.
Oh, I have to be. Oh, my bad.
You have to be streaming, I think. Yeah,
Sorry.
and like have people watching your stream, and then you hit raid, and it takes everybody over to the other person.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that midstream. I'll probably die, and we'll kill this thing. All right, so we're done. We've installed it. So check out your changed files. So you got to change your Angular JSON, which wasn't us.
Know. Oh, yes, package JSON. We added 3 things.
Yep, package JSON. We got 3 new dependencies and added a couple new scripts for you, right?
Yeah, I saw the scripts up here. We got 2 new ones, Scully and Scully Serve.
Yep. So we got those, and then it modified your polyfills. So it just added in this extra little zone tracking thing that we need, which is really small. It doesn't increase the size of your deliverable much.
But aside from that, it's also part of polyfills, which would be part of the site that gets loaded into the browser. But since with Scully, we're not actually going to be serving up an Angular application, it's all going to be statically rendered.
You can't. It will serve an Angular application. It's statically. Okay. So you load a static page that it's fully rendered,
right?
And then the Angular your Angular code downloads and runs on top of it.
I gotcha.
Just like Universal. So with Universal,
okay,
download a fully rendered site, and then your JavaScript also loads on top. So your SPA then bootstraps after. So that's Scully. That's Universal. That's the same thing here. And Gatsby, same thing, right? For React.
Now that all makes sense.
Yeah.
But then if you are dynamically getting data for any of those routes,
yeah,
then
you want to get into that? You want to get into that because it's pretty cool. You do it the same way you do with Universal.
No. That's fine. But then if I'm just planning on having that data available at build time,
Mm-hmm.
that's not going to fly unless, again, what you mentioned, the idea of converting all the routes to just static hrefs.
Nope.
No?
No, because so here's how you do it.
Or
You have
do
all-
we want to, I think that's like, I think we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's get,
Okay. Cool. Let's just build this thing, right?
yeah.
Okay. So we have your site.
Hold on. We did wait, one last change. The app component changed.
Yeah. So in there we brought in the idle monitor service. And so this idle monitor service, this is the thing that is needed for
Yeah, let me just open the actual file.
yeah.
Here we go. Okay.
Yes. So that idle monitor service, this thing is what tells Scully this route is done rendering.
Okay.
Right. Otherwise, we don't know when you're done. Like, are you fetching data? I don't know. So that idle monitor service uses zones to say, is there any more zone activity like HTTPs or timeouts or anything happening that we should still wait for to know if this route's done?
Gotcha.
And if there are any of those, then keep waiting. Otherwise, the route's done loading, and tell the Puppeteer thing to take the snapshot of the rendered HTML. We're done.
Cool.
Yeah. And that, incidentally, that same strategy will work once we support React and Vue apps. We're going to probably use Zone as well to say, hey, is this done?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So Zone will be our friend. Zone will probably be a big friend of Scully, even when we're in a Vue or a React project.
Cool.
Which is cool. Sorry, go ahead.
Justin went invisible. Oh, there he is. Okay.
Right. My mic, remember when my mic went out on Angular Air this morning?
Yeah.
Earlier? It went out again.
All right. So you're installed. So should we build this and check it out?
Yeah.
All right. So
without instruction from you, because I saw that we added this, am I just doing this?
No, there's one last on the getting started page. There's 2 steps to build.
Okay.
First, you do ng build, and then you're going to do npm run Scully. Yep.
Should I do a build?
Come again? It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah. For in your own, like in production, you would, right? Because you'll want minified, you'll want all the production optimizations in your JavaScript. But for now, for this demo, we don't really need it.
Now we get to wait for my machine to have a nice little hiatus here.
Yeah, it's on vacation.
It's still running in 2019.
Yeah. Would Scully work with things like Google Maps? So it would try to. And here's what I mean by that. When you work with Google Maps just puts an iframe on the page, right? So Scully is going to save everything that it can. But when your user loads that, they'll get an iframe that the iframe will probably immediately refresh. So you probably won't get much optimization. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, it'll render what it was there when the build happened. But yeah, to your point, it won't look broken, Codophobia. Yeah, it'll just, the iframe that was there, like if your Angular put a Google Maps component on and the Google Maps rendered an iframe inside of the component, yeah, the iframe will appear and that will go out to Google and re-render the map as it was. So yeah, it won't look broken. So
nice. So I ran both commands. I think it's just about done building.
Yep. We're in the first part of the build still.
Oh, now it has to.
Yeah, it's doing the NGC stuff
against the node modules.
Yeah. It's got to do the NGCC junk. I'm glad we're doing this. I was just sitting here coding and Google Chrome popped up and was like, "Oi, these jets are doing a live thing." I was like, "Oh, I'll just watch."
And we didn't have a plan for tonight. I mean, we had a few ideas that we were kicking
Yeah.
around.
All right. So now we're running Scully.
Yep.
Okay. So it's going to launch some Scully servers, and then it's going to find all your routes. So you'll kind of see that happening.
Cool.
And then,
So it says started servers in background.
yeah.
Hey,
What happened?
could
Could not connect the server. Come on, bruv. What is that about? See, this is the kind of stuff. This is why we're in alpha, to see this. So now that you have the build, we can do that whole thing a second time without the ng build. We can just run npm run Scully. So can you run just Scully?
Yep.
And are we on Windows?
No.
Are you on Mac?
Yeah.
All right. We might have to try some stuff out real quick.
Tell me that my out there is not configured.
That's
Let's
fine.
Directory.
That's fine.
Nice.
That's what we wanted anyway. Okay. I don't know why it didn't work the first time.
It got impatient. My machine must be too slow.
That's weird. It's finding all your outs. So this is using Minko from the Angular team build a library called Gas.js.
Mm-hmm. I know.
And it's smart. It knows how to do a lot of things with Angular. One of those being find all the routes in the project, right? So it's walking through. It's doing that. It's going to come up with a total list of routes it needs to use. Okay. Then it wrote all those potential routes out to that Scully routes JSON.
Okay, while that's running, I'm going to open that up.
Yeah.
So I found an about route and a slash route.
Yep. Yep. So those are the two routes that it found. Yep. And then it went ahead and rendered the about route into Scully AF dis static about index HTML, and then it rendered the home page to static index HTML. So if you open up your file explorer and open up that.
I can do that right here, but I'm currently hiding my
static
dist directory. So let's get rid of that.
Yeah, let's unhide the dist.
Make sure this is the right one. Files exclude. Yeah, let's not exclude that anymore.
Okay.
And if we refresh, we now see dist. And then bring that back up. So we're going to the Scully directory.
Yeah, no, static. Scully is your project that Angular built.
Okay, I got you.
And then we use that to make this static directory. So if you open up index.html just in this root.
Yep.
So this is going to be your fully rendered app root. So if you look inside app root, it has your H1. It has your router outlet, and after your router outlet, you'll see.
Yeah, I'm just going to save this to get it to format.
Yep.
Here's Prettier. Prettier doesn't want to do anything. All right, so we have our H1.
Yep. And you'll have your router outlet.
Got the two routes.
It's got the two routes inside divs. Yep. Which is already telling you this is already rendered because that was in your app component HTML, right?
Yeah, it was.
So we can already see that this is a rendered template.
Yep. So
if it wasn't rendered, all we'd see was app root.
Correct. And we have our router outlet.
And then after the router outlet, you'll see the app home.
App home component. Yep.
With its paragraph.
You see home works.
Yep. So at this point, you can be like, all right, cool. This is a rendered app, right? And then after that, you'll see all the script tags to load the app in JavaScript, right?
Yep.
So if you served this, are we looking at Rocky? Are we looking at your screen or Schwarty's screen?
This is me.
Okay. So do you have an HTTP server that you could just serve this static folder out of?
I do. Do I have live server installed? No.
Do you have HTTP server? -p.
I need to go to the dist directory anyway, right? This /static. Let's try a live server.
There you go.
Oh.
No, you shall not pass.
Doesn't
Doesn't have that either.
Pass.
npmgl.
Oh yeah, it's an alias.
Codephobia says just drag the file to Chrome.
You could do that too.
I'm not showing Chrome, so there's that as well. So let's do.
You're gonna need to show Chrome once you serve this. So
Okay, npm I live server. Actually, no, I want to do the HTTP server, right?
I would do npm install -g HTTP server, but yeah.
Come on. I-G HTTP server. Now we get to wait for me to install.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. Hey, I like to like provide that type of service.
What's Parcel? Codephobia. I've never used it. I use HTTP server.
That should have popped for you guys.
How does that pop for me? That's crazy.
You're welcome.
Good job. All right, so this just popped on my computer. Can your users see that? Can you share that so people can see it? Because it would be cool if you could show them that you're going to turn off JavaScript and the page still renders.
I
Yeah, I
can
get it. Hold on.
I'll do it. You want me to do it?
Oh, here. Let me. Okay, you're there already. You need to zoom though.
Yeah, so do Command-Shift-P, whoever's screen that is, and do disable JavaScript. So let's turn off JavaScript. And then now, if you click those links, see that? So they're fully loading. And if you go to the network tab on those loads, you're just loading a few kilobytes of the page data, which if that was with Angular, I mean, you're loading several hundred kilobytes of just Angular just to do these simple hello worlds with this simple list, right? Yeah. So yeah, so it's a much smaller deliverable. So yeah, there you go. That's that. I mean, you've effectively at this point built an Angular app that renders without JavaScript now. That's pretty cool, right?
Pretty cool.
So should we add some kind of dynamic build stuff? You guys want to do that?
I'm good with that.
Okay. So why don't you generate a new module called user, and we'll have like user ID 1, user ID 10, right? We'll query the server for some users. Is that cool?
I want to see the markdown stuff too.
Okay, sorry, bam. Let's do that instead.
Let's start with that because that's kind of still static content, right?
Yeah. Okay. So to kind of teach you guys how to do this, why don't you guys go to Scully.io?
You got your browser up once you pop that. So while we do that, I'm going to pop or generate a module called posts.
Okay, done. No, don't do that because Scully does this for you. Scully, the schematic does all this Angular module and everything for you, bro. So, did you guys go to Scully.io?
Go into it.
Okay. So, click on that getting started. Actually, go back and go to the full documentation because you're going to want to do adding blog support right there. Adding blog support. Yep. So we just try and make it easy. So if you just say ngg Scully.io init blog, this command here will add a module for your blogs, and it will create a default blog with a markdown file for you. So it kind of gets you going. And then once you have the thing for it, then we also have a schematic to generate new posts as well. because a lot of people they don't remember how to do the front matter or the front data, right? Whatever you call. But this thing will create a new markdown with some front data for you. So generate that, run that schematic, Brocky.
All right. I'm just going to generate a blog. Oh,
Yeah.
let's before we do that, let's commit again.
Yeah. Good call.
GG.
Good game.
So really what you're saying is it's a static site generator, but also it's a blog engine built in Angular.
Totally. Like because we know the number one thing that people are like, dude, I want a blog engine.
Yeah.
I need markdowns that render in Angular, which means I need a build time solution, which blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. We got that for you.
Cool.
Yeah. And again, this is alpha, so there's going to be a couple extra steps in here that we'll have solidified by the time we're done. But you'll see, hey, they just rendered my site for me. This is cool. Commit that guy.
I'm having trouble typing tonight.
You're killing it, bruv. Killing it.
You can give access to your terminal and we can type.
You back off my terminal there, buddy.
RM-RF.
I swear I didn't mean to hit enter. My finger just slipped.
RM-RF. Wait, Mike's not on the podcast anymore. It's because his computer's dead. That's awesome.
It says he lost connection to host. I don't understand.
Yeah, what's that? I don't know why he lost connection. That's weird. That's weird. That's never happened before on the show.
Dude, it already created what they.
Well, there's that other time somebody let us access their terminal, but
All right. So there you go. So it updated your Angular app. Sorry, I will shut up.
Can we get a pull request in to go year, month, date, day? 2020 01.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. You mean for the initial test blog? Yeah, totally.
Cool.
Once you do posts, you can call it whatever you want. That was just a sample blog. Yeah, you're right. It should probably do year, month, day.
Sorry.
Dude, hey, Broggy, you want to be a contributor on Scully? PR that.
All right. I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's one line of code to PR that. So,
and it's a schematic too. I'm good there.
Yeah. Yeah. You know this. It's a Unix system. I know this.
I know. I know schematic foo. All right. Sorry.
Okay. So, all right. So what this did, if I could point at these files at your terminal that it said, hey, I created these, it created a first markdown for us, right? So you've got, this is your sample blog, right? Yeah. So Schwarty should be excited because he's seeing markdown. This is your bag, right? And publish is false. We don't respect that yet. We need to respect that. We're in alpha, so even if it's published false, we're still going to do that one. So we'll get that fixed.
So the dash in Markdown, is that just a comment?
So this is called front matter. And if you go to like dev.to or really any blogging markdown infrastructure like Gatsby as well does it. This front matter is just stuff that you don't want in your blog post, but it's metadata about the blog post, right? Understood. So like the title, that will be the title on the HTML page. It'll also be in your metadata so that when someone posts a link and Facebook wants to scrape it, that needs to be the thing as well, that previews as well, right?
Nice.
So yeah, that's kind of that stuff. And that a lot of people have 8 or 9 or 10 front matter pieces. Right now, we just have these 3 that we put in there for you. The good thing about the front matter is it won't get thrown onto the it's not going to get put on the into the blog. It just doesn't get rendered. It's just there as metadata about the post for you. Cool. So yeah. So anyway,
so like the file name, is that going to become the URL for the?
For now, we want to add a URL property into that front matter. So you can say my URL. I don't want my URL to be 1-8-2020-blog. For now, that is going to be the URL.
Mm-hmm. Whatever you name the file.
Yeah. Yeah. So all right. So we created your first markdown file, but let's go ahead and look at the other 2 changes we made. So we made a blog module, and if really you don't need to know much about the blog module other than open up your app-routing just to kind of see your route.
Yeah. Actually, here. You're talking about this one here, right? At the bottom?
Yes. Yep. Okay. So you can see now we have this blog route here as well. True, right?
Yep.
All right. So I feel like this is broken because it was supposed to. Oh wait, no, sorry. So let's open that blog module because it has a route inside of it as well. So I want you to kind of look inside the blog routing module that got created. Yeah. So see how you have that slug? Sorry.
Yeah.
We're good.
Can I open this thing? Oh yeah. Sorry. Okay. So so that slug, that's going to be the name of the file, right? So when you look at that route in your head, it's /blog/ whatever, right?
Yep.
All right. So we're in this scenario now where we now have a route parameter and we have to teach Scully how to discover those different slugs. True. And this is the slug is the term that's used by Gatsby and all these other static site generators. It's used by CMSs as well. This is just the name of the parameter. Okay. So the last change that happened is that schematic is it updated your Scully config. So open your Scully config, and we actually should have gone through this to start with, but it added a parameter inside your Scully config. Okay. So for every route with dynamic data that Scully needs to know about, you have to configure that inside of here. Okay. So, so for this, we're like, hey, anytime you're going to discover blog/slug ID, you're going to discover that. We tell Scully that. Yeah. And when you see it, this config right here is what you're going to use to render that and to discover the different slug IDs. So we have a plugin called Content Folder, and you just pass it for this slug. We give it this right here has to match this parameter right here. That's really all you have to do. And then to resolve that, we just say, hey, use the Content Folder plugin and go to this blog folder. And then what that's going to do is it's going to go to your blog folder, find all those content folders, the file names, and that's the file name is going to become the slug ID. And then it's going to render the content of that from Markdown into HTML and put that into the page for you. So that's kind of what's happening for you.
So let me ask you this. We had the Scully routes, right? That was a different file.
Scully routes is a different file. Yeah, that you don't need to worry about that.
So just to be clear, this is static routes without any slugs or parameters or anything else.
Yeah.
Scully config is where you define the ones with the slugs.
Yeah. So
okay.
So I'm gonna throw some terminology at you, which we don't normally throw out. This slug in your Scully config, this is an unhandled route. This is a route that hasn't been handled yet. We haven't resolved the parameter in it.
Okay.
And then over in Scully routes, we call those handled routes. That's a route that's been handled and we've substituted in the parameters and it's ready to go. So that's kind of some nomenclature that you don't need to understand unless you're going to write a plugin.
All right. So that's happening. So behind the scenes, when I run Scully now, it'll run this config and create all of the routes based off of this here. And then because of this, all of the files in this folder will also be appended to this array.
Yeah, they will. That will get updated real.
But that's a runtime thing. I don't have to worry about setting that up because I've said it's set up here in the configuration.
Yes. Yep. Cool. Yep. Okay. So now, why don't you add some junk to that Markdown just so we can prove that it's actually going to get rendered? So go open your Markdown for me.
Codephobia asked if it supports like Twitter card data, Open Graph data, like right now for each of those. Can you do that at the?
I don't understand the question. Sorry. Can you just explain to me what they're
asking?
So
for like meta tags for your social sharing stuff, right? There's for Twitter cards, for Open Graph, for like Facebook cards. So you mentioned when somebody shares a link on Facebook or shares a link on Twitter, it'll look for those meta tags. It looks for the title and description, but it also looks for these other Open Graph, OGraph tags and stuff like that to add additional information in there.
Yeah.
Like small image, large image, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Can that be done in our blog post here, or are those not handled yet?
So it's not. I could walk you guys through the beginnings of what that would look like. It's not handled right now.
For Scully, you guys had to add the code that handles parsing these markdown files. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. We use marked. It's what
So
it's
you use
called.
marked for the content, but all this upper content,
The meta tags.
You had to write code for that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We would have to write that. It doesn't
Mark
exist right
doesn't
now.
do that, I don't think, right?
Mark does not do that. Yeah.
So you've implemented some of that information in Scully. Scully would have to get updated to implement more, like the Twitter card and that sort of thing.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep. So if I could grab the mouse real quick, just to kind of explain what that might look like. Is that cool?
Sure. Oh, you can't really
Oh, okay.
cross here.
Okay. Open up your Scully.
You just start typing, and Mike.
Here, I can follow you. So
Okay. Okay. Sorry.
So he follows you now.
Now,
So
Do whatever you want to do.
if I wanted to add these post renderers, right? And imagine that like you guys inspired me, and I went home tonight and added that the Twitter card or the Open Graph meta for Facebook, right?
Right.
So and I published it, and I called it Scully Facebook meta or whatever, right? So if I publish that, then all you'd have to do is you'd have to say require, whatever the name of my thing is that I built, right? So Frosty / whatever the name of my npm module. So Frosty / Facebook Scully Facebook meta. So it's all by requiring that'll register this plugin right here. Okay. So once I build it, all you have to do is require it. Same as like Webpack. For those who are familiar with Webpack, you have to require the plugin you want and then just pass it in as a parameter. And what that would do is it would say, hey, take whatever this thing is, take the page once it's rendered and add that Facebook meta into it as well. That's what that would do.
So the plugin allows you to receive the content of that HTML and then output a new version, whatever you want to do to it.
Yeah, there's two types of plugins. One, the plugin that helps resolve the routes. And then there's another post renderer plugin where you get past the full HTML, the fully rendered HTML, and you could do things to it at that point. So I could add a bunch of junk to the head of the document. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, totally do that. That would be something you could easily do.
Cool.
It doesn't exist today. We're in alpha. We were more excited than anybody to get this out there. The only people maybe more excited than us was the Angular team themselves.
Yeah.
And so we're like, dude, we got to go alpha before the holidays. And it's out there. A lot of the features are missing. But the cool thing is the infrastructure to provide the features exists now. Now we just need a bunch of plugins to happen.
Yeah, well, that's that the plugin system is built. That's a hard thing to tackle. So getting that right out the bat is awesome.
Yeah, and it's solid. It's all based on it's all asynchronous, and we base it on promises because unlike Angular, these are all one-time run events. So we're like, we don't need to do observables. But if someone wanted to build a plugin with an observable and then promise it at the end, you totally could
do it.
Yeah. As long as it returns a promise at the end, you're good.
So somebody in the chat in the 470, I don't know their number, asked about doing like table of contents with Markdown.
Yeah, totally. You could totally do a TOC for like so imagine like you're on these blogs. I want you to have I want to make my own plugin and I'm going to call it my custom TOC plugin or whatever, right? Whatever I register it as, that can go ahead and modify the HTML and add in whatever TOC data I want for that. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You could also in Angular, because you have all the routes in the app and that's in that Scully routes, you could also build a TOC component in Angular and then not have to worry about it. Does that make sense? So you could build your TOC in Angular, or you could build it after the fact with, hey, Yvonne, how's it going? Yvonne Allen? That's cool. Yeah, so you could build your TOC component in Angular, or you could build your TOC component as a post renderer function, like as a part of the Scully pipeline. So it doesn't, I don't care. right? Like it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
You could do whatever you want. So yeah. There's multiple ways you could do it. And actually, if you go to Scully and if you go back to the source code in our example app, we actually have a table of contents plugin.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, because we're like, hey, this is gonna be something big that a lot of people are gonna want to do. So
Yeah.
we have a project that's called the sample blog, and in there we'll have a bunch of different stuff that you can kind of work with, and in there we have configured a table of contents plugin as well. So
Nice.
So yeah.
Nice.
Is that done as a post render or is that done as an Angular component?
Let's look how Scully. I think if I look at the Scully config and I look at the TOC, 1 second. Where did he just built this today? So I'm trying to find where he put it. TOC. I don't see it in here. I'm just telling you what he told me. I don't really know. It should be there though. So my bad. Sorry,
No worries. I mean,
but you guys can see how that would be easy to do though, right?
yeah, absolutely.
You could either build your TOC in Angular using that Scully routes file with all the routes from your app, or you could grab it after the fact through some renderer and do it. So yeah. Someone says
where that Scully routes file ends up at. Where is that at?
it goes into your assets directory. So if you open up assets,
Okay.
when you run the build, it creates this thing. And
So when you, that gets excluded then okay.
What gets
From
excluded?
Git or what? Or
yeah,
is it-
you don't want to commit that thing.
Right.
It's a byproduct of your app. It's not something that you would ever want to commit.
Wait, what are we talking about there? About
The Scully routes. It's in your assets folder, and all Angular projects by default ignore the assets folder for their Git repo.
No, they don't.
Oh, do they not?
No.
Oh, I don't know. You would want to ignore that. Ours ignores that.
Okay.
Yeah, you would want to ignore that file. Sorry.
The git keep file that's there is so that the assets file gets generated even though it's empty, because Git doesn't know about directories unless there's a file in there.
Oh, gotcha. There we go. Okay, so yeah, you wouldn't. I mean, you could commit this, I suppose.
I think I did when I did a git add, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I would ignore it because it's derived. It's not an actual piece of data that you would ever edit. So
Did
yeah.
you see this?
What is it?
VS Code doesn't say MD files; it's M with a down arrow, so it's marked down.
Oh,
That's the Markdown logo, like the people kind of.
I've never seen that logo before.
It doesn't really have an official, I don't think, unless I haven't looked at it recently, but like
That's
the
funny.
original creator of Markdown wasn't around to like say, yes, that's the official thing. So the community just adopted like that as the official kind of logo,
That's
Yeah.
funny.
as far as I know.
Anyway, so yeah. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Okay, so we have a blog.
Yeah, so
Let's delete those post render. Yeah, delete those things. Yeah. All right. So let's render this now. Let's generate our website. So because we've now added more Angular, we need to do another Angular build, and then we can run Scully a second time. The build will go a lot faster this time, though. There we
But
go.
I don't have to rebuild the Angular app though, correct?
You do, because you added that blog module with the lazy loaded blog route and stuff.
Okay. So I want to do build and npm run Scully.
Yep.
Or do you want me to run that separately?
No, it just shouldn't matter. Yeah. Yeah. So Codephobia says, oh, Scully parses the dist folder. Yeah. So when you build into dist/project name, Scully parses that. And it's not Scully that's parsing that. It's Guest.js that's parsing that, which is a tool built by Minko.
So I know that the CLI obviously has route determination logic built into it. Was that explored as a possibility to do it based off of non-built components, or did that not matter because you need the dist to be able to run it?
I think Guess was the de facto just because we didn't want to NGC the whole thing. Like we didn't want to involve NGC because I don't think that the CLI has the knowledge of the routes. I think it's NGC.
Well, if you think about it, though, it does, because it needs to know what the routes are to be able to separate out the separate bundles.
But that's just Webpack. That's a function of Webpack, not the CLI itself. When Webpack sees the import statements, that's all it needs to know. Webpack separates those out. Right?
Might be the case. I'm not positive.
Please don't hang up on this part again. If it hangs, I'm gonna. God damn it! All right. Run Scully separately. Sorry. I wonder why that hangs when you do it like that.
I don't know. So if I wanted to configure the outer, do I do that as part of the Scully
config? Yeah.
Okay. So that would just be one of the out.
Yeah, we call it. Yeah, we call the out folder at first, but then Minko was like, "Call it outdoor." Really? Yeah, exactly.
Do it again.
Yeah, I guess do it again.
Alpha, bro.
If this fails again, we'll have to like do a. Okay, I don't know. I don't know why it works the third time. So now it's gonna find it, and it's gonna tell you, "Hey, I found this blog stuff." And in your output, in your terminal here, it's gonna say, "Hey, oi, I found some blog stuff." In fact, the blog route, I actually already updated my Scully routes on my over here.
I see it.
Yep. Why is this taking? So I see the route. I found the route, but it's taking. I bet it's hitting the timeout on the rendering of the blog page. Okay, so it created that now. So now we got to get someone committed a freaking log. They logged the whole HTML. I'll pull request. See that HTML they got? Come on. All right. I'll do a pull request to remove that log. That sucks. All right. Anyway, you can see that now you have your blog. If you go to your dist and your static folder in blog, you'll have, you have that folder with the index in there. And really, run it again. That is an error, but that's
because I updated the markdown and I
clearly rendered. Yeah.
It's the heart in there that's killing it.
No, dude, if it's the heart, I'm gonna end my life right now. That's gonna bug me. We need that heart. The world needs more of those hearts, man. Especially after what's going on with the United States and Iran right now. The world and Australia. The world needs more hearts, yo.
Heart.
Put them in there for that reason.
Yeah.
I even put a link in too.
Yeah, you did. Come on, bruv. It's timing out on something. That's why it takes so many seconds. It shouldn't take those first routes, scroll up on those routes. Do you have the markdown in that thing? Do slowly scroll down in that comment, that HTML comment. Do we have your rendered junk in there?
This is source maps.
Yeah, there's a meta tag in your header though. Scroll down. Hold on. There you're in the body. App root. Hold on.
Yeah.
Router outlet.
Oh, I see.
Container. No, it didn't render it.
Yeah, but
where's it going to render it? What page? You're looking at the blog
this is
page?
the blog page. Yeah, that's what this is. It didn't render this thing. Yeah, when I open up, I still can't see the dist over here, by the way.
You should.
It doesn't show it to me. Am I hiding dist stuff?
Scully could not find the Scully content.
Yeah.
Tagging this page.
Scully cannot find it. Open up your Scully. Oh, okay. Do this for me. Open up in the source app. Open up blog.
Hold on for a
Go
second.
to-
So we did blog, which is important to the blog module. Go ahead. Sorry.
You go open up the blog.html. Scully content's there. Open up your app module. Okay, this might be why. It doesn't know what the Scully content component is. So do this for me. Can you import the Scully content component?
Hold on. Let's look at the blog module and see what that's importing.
You would do it there, right?
There you go. Is it there? Yeah, it's already there. Well, yeah, open up that blog module.
This
Is
is
this
the blog
it?
module.
Open up the blog route. What's the blog component? Open up yeah, it's not even in there.
No, but the blog component would need to have the Scully.
Content component.
Yeah.
So do it there.
It'd be neat if we were in WebStorm right now, because then it would tell us where that Scully content
Yeah.
component comes from.
It
And
comes
what-
from the ng-lib. Oh, there you go. It added it up top on line 3.
Yeah, but I don't want that to be here. I need to declare it. I should be able to. Isn't that part of a module though?
I think it. I don't think we bring it. I don't think we have it as part of a module. I think we just have it as like a public API. But maybe it's got to be a module. Hold on. Let me open up my code. Sorry.
Okay.
Let's open up Scully.
Because to me, that components module should be bringing in the Scully content component.
Yeah. So let me open up Scully projects,
Unless there's a blogs module,
ng-lib,
blog module.
lib. No, there's a components file. It's called components module. And does the public API export the components module? Yeah.
Which I have.
So it's bringing in the components module already.
It is.
Is the components module ng module components module declares and exports the Scully content. So it's saying it can't find it.
Correct.
Son of a gun. Do one more build, yo. Do you need to add Scully module to the lazy loaded module? I mean, it is. The lazy loaded module is the blog module, and you need to bring in the components module of that, which it is.
I have the components module. Do I need to bring the Scully module in here too?
No, there's no Scully module. Components module is the Scully module.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Do a build. No, sorry, an ng build. Sorry.
Die.
I wish Jorge. This gets recorded on your Twitch, right?
Yeah, and on YouTube.
I'm gonna make Jorge watch this so he can see how painful it was. Jorge is writing the build.
Let's see what's going on here.
Hold on. If you do this for me, are you still ng serving?
No.
You stopped?
Yeah. Jorge's not online. I was going to ping him.
Yeah, he's asleep. He's 4 hours ahead of us, so it's like almost 1 a.m. for him.
It's 11 here.
Yeah. You know, Argentines eat dinner at like 9 or 10 at night.
Whew.
That's late, right?
It's real late.
Yeah.
My kids would be eating his dinner every
He
night.
and I eat dinner basically at like the same time.
Tuesdays and Thursdays we eat dinner at my house at like 4 because my youngest
You like practice and stuff.
activities.
Yeah.
Right to that build, so I'm just running Scully now.
Activities. Another reference to Step Brothers.
What's that?
Another reference to Step Brothers.
I missed it.
When they clean out their room, you have activities we can do now. Anyway, sorry. It's our second Step Brothers reference, is all I'm saying.
No, I like it.
Come on. Oh man, this is so frustrating.
Maybe that's why I was throwing all the output, the HTML in here. Was
Yeah, it's probably because it has an error.
Prestige Worldwide demo. I like it.
Oh, yeah, seriously. Codophobia says maybe the file wasn't saved. How many times have we been hit by that? Be honest, a lot. All right, so open up that dist. Is it still give you the H1 with the error in it in the dist? The dist static for the blog.
I'm looking at that. Dist static blog index.
Bleh.
Yeah.
Are you sure you inserted the mandatory Scully content? Yes, we're sure.
Let's close this down. And we were talking about our blog component. The components here.
Hold on. Are you sure? What was the error again in the output?
Where do you want to see this?
It didn't find the Scully content tag.
Inserted the mandatory. Yeah, show me that thing. All right. So what is it saying?
Are you reading that?
Yeah, I'm reading here.
This doesn't look like an Angular error.
Why does it do that? That bugs me that it. Huh. Yeah, that's messed up, man. So it can't. It's trying to find. So NG serve this real quick and just see. Go to that blog route. Go to blog/1 and see what happens. Does it even work? NG run start. Because everything's configured fine.
While that's running. Is this something that should stay?
Yeah. I mean, the comment doesn't have to stay, but that Scully content component, that's where.
I'm talking about lines 1, 2, and then 6 and 7.
The only thing that matters about your blog post is the Scully content is where the markdown is going to get set. So
okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. So that's running. If I go to blog, and what is it? blog/1-8-2020. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not going there.
Sorry. Why don't I have that open on my page anymore?
I don't know.
/blog/1.
I have to do blog/ I know you can't see my screen right now.
Yeah, I can't either. App root. Yeah, it doesn't find that route. Oh, wait. Scully route server, HTTP client. No provider for HTTP client. Search your project for HTTP client module. Why don't you bring just to test this? Add in HTTP client module to your app module. Just import it there.
It is not here.
Yeah, that's a. Yeah. Now your ng serve save that just so your ng serve refreshes.
Yep.
Okay, so now we go blog 1. Okay, so now it's working. So now blog 1 says I couldn't load it. Now your build should work. That's a bug, yo.
Sorry, could not load static page content.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't before.
Yeah, well, it doesn't load. Well, it's always going to say that in ng serve. You can only, for right now, you can only see the markdowns after you do a Scully build. You can't see the markdown during the ng serve.
Then you need Scully to actually translate the markdown file to static HTML.
Yeah, yep. We do. We done do.
It's making sense to. Dude, I'm not having issues with my workspaces when I'm trying to move around Chrome tabs.
All right. Sorry, I gotta slack my team. Say we broke the schematic. Yo, doing a live event with the NGBS gents and found out that we broke the schematic.
Yvonne has a good question. What if you need markdown in multiple places? Can you use the Scully content tag to be used more than once?
Oh yeah, totally. So if that's the case, so like, let's say you need markdown in 2 or 3 places, you would need to do a pull because no one's had that yet. You would need to do a pull request and help us understand what you're trying to do. But yes,
so like if I wanted to manage, like if I wanted to have multiple markdown files and it's for sections of content on my page, right? So not just the whole page, but I want to have some markdown rendered content, and then I want to use some Angular components, and then I want to use markdown again, right?
Yep.
Like could I do something like Scully content element, but have an input on it and tell it what markdown file to use?
Yeah. So you'd have to help us with some. You'd have to help us with a pull request to expand the Scully content. Yes. But yeah, the answer is yes.
Do something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Just wasted how many minutes did we waste on that HTTP thing? Just wasted, I don't know, 25 minutes.
Hey, that's your bag giving your team a hard time, dude. We're not involved in that.
This looks good here in terms of the output.
All right. So we didn't get any errors. Hello. All right. So now you should be able to serve this feller.
I need to. This is the app log and the content. So this is all the stuff that I added.
Yeah, that's all the stuff you added up there. Yep.
See, here's our H1.
Yep. Made it.
Is it marked that's adding the IDs to those header tags?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, we don't build that. That's marked. However marked works, that's how this works.
So do we have our title set? Is the name of the project?
Yeah, the title. So we don't have that plugin working yet for the blogs.
Yeah.
Like the front matter guy. But we need to.
At least the problem wasn't the heart. That's true.
Yo, if it was the heart, that was gonna be sad. All right.
So now I got all my 2 tags.
So now render this. Like, pull it up.
All right. I'm gonna stop my share, or do you bring it up, Justin?
Sure. What are you serving it through? NGServe, or did you do it through?
Serve this.
What's the route again?
Or did you do it through the
HTTP server? You're gonna have to kill your HTTP server because the dist folder it was serving got removed and then added back again. So your HTTP server is gonna break. So wherever your HTTP server is, you got to kill it and redo it.
It's not running.
Oh, then you need to do HTTP server and
I went into the dist directory.
Yeah. So I didn't pop that time for me.
It did not.
No.
All right, so I'm going to go. We don't have a link to it. So what did we call it? It was 1-8 2020 dash blog.
1-8-2020 blog
Yeah.
slash index.html. Got it.
Yeah. 1-8-2020.
Yeah.
blog.
Fully rendered with the link and everything.
And I can see it on my screen in the HTTP server output.
Yeah. It's there. What did you do?
What did I do? What am I missing? Or is it blog.html?
Blog. You need blog slash.
No, blog slash index.html. What did you do wrong? Nothing. I did the exact same. So after blog, do slash index.html.
No, I can't see your URL. It's too small.
You got 2 dots on your index.html. Remove one of them. That's all I did was that.
No, because it's in a subdirectory called blog. So enter the port /blog.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Why does it make an index file for that post?
That's what all these static.
What?
Why don't you just copy paste the link you're using into my thing or into the Slack?
You
Or
too.
you can share your screen either way.
I'm going to go to private chat.
Yeah.
There.
I don't know what I had. What am I missing?
Yo, I swear that's exactly what you had. I don't know. I don't know what's not working for you. It works for me. It's on. Is the screen? Should I share my screen?
Yeah, you can do that.
So here it is for me, yo.
Hold on.
Fully loaded.
Show.
What's that?
He's got to put it in there. There we go.
Yeah. So I've got here's what it is, yo. Here's the ng serve page, and then here's the HTTP server page.
It was caching, I think. Is there
Oh,
cache? You have to do something with cache busting or something, or
Did you do a hard reload?
no?
I don't know.
I did. I just did and got it to work. Here, I'll share my screen.
Yeah, I don't know. It's HTTP server. I have no idea on that. So yeah. Anyway, it's working. So we fully generated it. You can disable JavaScript. This page will still fully load. So yeah.
It's cool.
If you wanted to do one more thing, go open up your app component. And this is the last thing, and then I'll stop talking. And in your app component, bring in the Scully route service. I think that's what it's called. So private Scully. Yeah. Yeah. So that's a route service. That's just going to do a fetch on that routes.json. Right? So now you could instead of having that hard-coded list of links up top home, you could just kind of programmatically add that if you wanted to. So Scully routes has .available as an observable. So that's what you're going to want to do. So you're going to want to use that observable in your template, or you could, either way, you could subscribe and.
I was just going to log it.
Yeah, there you go. You got one too many open paren.
I know.
Right,
What? So are you able to denote the route type? Like, is it a blog post or not from here?
No. But if you open up the Scully routes in your assets, it adds like a title. So it added that meta to the top of it. Into the Scully route.
Let's do this. Let's go back to the HTML and we'll do a pre-JA and we're going to put in the Scully route service.available.
Yeah.
Which will not work.
Why? Because you made it private?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now, you're not serving anymore, are you?
I am not because I have HTTP server running.
Okay.
And while that is running, I'm going to stop sharing this and I'm going to share this.
Chrome bugging out. Open new browser.
Justin, you want to bring in my browser for me?
GNG serve this feller?
It's building.
Okay.
So my piece here is there. 50%. We'll probably jump
can,
2 or 3.
You can do it, little Mac. You can do it, little Mac. There we go.
Oh, Matt.
So still our routes.
Come again?
So this is just telling us all of our routes.
Yeah. So it's just gonna give you so you could make your TOC out of that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it just outputting any of that? What do we call it again? The top stuff?
Front matter.
Front matter.
Yeah.
Forgetting that. Could we just add our own front matter called like blog post true and then potentially use that?
Yeah, I think you could add you could try that. You could try it.
I mean, we could easily just do a filter because we know what the route is and just starts with.
Yeah. I mean, you could do some.
But you could also we could also have a flag that we create to say like this is part of the TOC, right?
Yeah.
So include in TOC true or something like that, and then you can use the filter.
Yeah, like so you might want to create a TOC, but you also might want to create a related posts. So you look at like the tags, right? So you might want to add tags as a comma separated thing at the top of your front matter, and then just find things with the same tags that are the most recent or has the most likes, whatever, right? Like, yeah, there's a lot you could do here.
Are you serving this right now to the NG server? You are, right?
Yes, I am.
I'm gonna try this real quick.
Hold on, let me stop sharing my screen. Do you want me to stop sharing and go to the code or no?
No, that's fine.
He's gonna, yeah. So this routes isn't gonna get rebuilt until he runs Scully again, just so you know.
No, but what we can do is we can just directly, for right now, edit the assets file.
Totally. Yep.
Almost.
So if I add in here custom and added a value.
Yeah.
So I added this into the JSON, so we have that.
Yeah.
And to your point, do something like that. Tags.
Yvonne said, I think I missed what front matter was. So when you create these blogs, Yvonne, with markdown files, and I'm still learning all this stuff. So I mean, don't take what I say as doctrine, right? Like people put at the front of these markdown files, they put like 3 dashes and then some YAML and then 3 more dashes. Anyway, that data in between those two sets of 3 dashes, that's called front matter, and it's kind of metadata about the blog. So like the date it was created, its title that you want in the page and stuff like that. So yeah.
Justin, you didn't need to do that.
I didn't need to do what?
I'm gonna so here, let me
Operator import.
Well, you do want that, except you don't want to filter, you want to map, and then this R is an array, and you want to use a filter on the array.
Where are we at, gents? What file?
Oh, because that's a
component.
Gotcha. All right.
TOC available.pipe.
Yes.
Yeah.
do a
So R would be an
You wanna-
array. So you'd want to do R dot filter, yeah.
and then say this is the actual blog post, and you want to whoa.
Did I change? I went to a different file. Did it act all crazy?
Yeah, how do I unfollow you?
Go to Twitter.
No. Thought we were about art.
You just lost a Twitter follower, bro.
But it's a big one. It's Mike. I don't want to lose Mike.
Stop VPing me.
Trying to help out with the BP, bro.
We need another paren at the end.
I did it.
There you
I
go.
done did it. And you also, I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna do
I'm
this.
gonna give try high fives. Ready?
Hold on
No.
1 second.
Yes.
Did anybody change the template?
Why?
Yeah.
I did.
Oh, hey, Justin, bring my screen into the stream. So everybody who's watching can actually see what we do.
Yes. All right. So
All right, so hold on, because people weren't saying. So what we did is we created a property called TOC, and on the route service available, we're piping that, and a little quick format, and we're mapping that to filter the array of routes to say that we're only going to include it if it's in the TOC, which Justin added into the front
Matter.
front matter, yeah.
Thank you. Here to say that in TOC is true for this particular post.
Yeah.
So I'm going to save that. I need to stop serving. I need to do an npm run build.
Yeah. And you would need to do
npm run Scully to be able to
yeah.
process it
Yeah.
and then serve it.
No, you're good.
Of course, then we'll see the same output because we only have one blog post.
Well, we saw 3 routes before. We saw the about and the home as well.
Oh, you are correct. Yes.
Yeah. So we should be down to 1, is what you're saying. Yeah. But I mean, so at this point, I just want you to know, I mean, we're just doing Angular anymore, though. Like, and that's kind of like the sales pitch of this is it's just Angular. You're not doing Universal, right? You're not having to write Node code yet. You're just doing Angular. You're just doing Angular.
Right.
So, and this is that's kind of the important sell pitch here is it's just Angular.
Yeah.
So-
The fact that you don't have to go through the stuff to set up Universal, right?
Yeah.
And the other big factor that you mentioned in the very beginning, which is you don't have to have a node server running to do the other part of the puzzle, right?
Yeah. In staging, in production, in whatever. Right. Hello.
We'll get rid of that. Oh, you know why?
No. Oh yeah, that's why.
You know why.
I'm in the wrong dir.
Come on, Dur.
So,
The other major point with Universal is not just all of your code, because you could have done everything perfectly as is within your application. But if you have a dependency that doesn't support Universal,
you're dead.
You dead, bro.
You done dead.
What about the wiring up of data and stuff? I mean, that's something that
you want to do it because it's actually pretty easy
to some degree.
It's pretty easy.
Wiring up of what data?
Like if Angular's not in the mix yet, and there's some form and it collects the data. What was that?
Oh,
additional universal. I forget what it's called.
Form data is different. You want to send form data somewhere? Now you have to have an API in production.
No, there's something with Universal where it would serve up the static content. You would get the user would be able to interact with form fields and stuff while we're waiting for Angular to spin up. And then as soon as Angular spins up, it could take what the user already entered and plug it into the pipeline, right? Remember that?
Yeah, we don't have that solved yet. But if you rendered a page with a form, the problem is I think the form, well, I don't know if the form would go away and come back or not. Look, but you can see the route. If you share your screen, it's filtered down to just the TLC route.
Yeah.
So I can see that over here.
I gotta stop sharing and reshare and share a different window. And Justin's got to bring it in.
Sweet.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, so it's just doing his TLC stuff now. It filtered out all the non-TLCs. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And your TLC wouldn't have to do that. I mean, your TLC could be sort this based on publish date. So you could add a publish field and just your TLC could be the latest blog posts, right?
Yeah, it could be, you can do whatever you you leverage the front matter to do whatever you want.
Yeah. Your TLC could be previous and next, right? Like your TLC doesn't just have to be a static list. Like you could make your TLC whatever you want it to be at this point. But yeah. So this is an example of building your TLC in Angular. What you just did. You could do a completely different version of the TLC using a post renderer plugin that just modifies the HTML after the fact. Right. So it would depend on how you wanted to build it.
Yeah, because the other thing you could do with this information is that as part of this metadata here, you could have the date.
Yeah, which you would.
Right. Yeah, you would have the date of when it was published. And then on top of each individual blog post that gets rendered as part of the nav and the header, you could have a previous and next.
Yeah, totally. Yep. And you could also have a tags.
Yeah.
Right. So I could let you do a comma separated list of tags. And then I could say related. I could add a related posts where I just find other things with the same tags. You know,
you could also generate a tags route where tags without any parameters could just render all the different tags.
Yeah, it's like, so I could show you the tags. I could show you the tags and then be like, hey, click on the tag to see other posts with that tag. And I could pre-render that as well. That would be its own route, right?
Yep.
So yeah.
The only other thing that interests me is tag/kittens.
Tags. You could totally do a kittens tag, yo.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think you can do it without a kittens tag.
I don't know why you wouldn't. Is the question? Why wouldn't you?
Dogs, because
dogs.
Yeah,
because dogs.
Because of dogs.
The other piece that interests me a little bit more is the idea of, sure, having an Angular application is great, but what about if I didn't want Angular to run when I deployed? To basically strip out all of the bootstrapping of Angular, all the JS scripts and everything else, and just have a static site.
Easy. Like I could write a post renderer plugin real quick with you guys to show you how you would do that. Like I don't know if you want to do that, but we could totally do that.
Before getting into doing that, is that something that you as the Scully team are going to be releasing?
I suppose if you said, like, okay, let me share your Scully config for me real quick.
Yeah, let me go
share
back.
the screen with the code Scully config. So I suppose if you really were like, hey, we don't want JavaScript on these pages, we don't want Angular.
Right.
I suppose we could give you something like no JS true. And I suppose if you gave me that, I could add a default piece that was like, all right, that links to that page have to be fully, like that page won't have any JS. But the problem is you'd have to hit that page directly, because if you went to that page from a page that had JS, then that would be brutal. So we'd almost have to probably start with this, maybe a global Node.js,
which is what I was thinking.
Yeah. So if you wanted to add a global Node.js, then you'd have to make sure your site works with Node.js. Like the only interaction on your page is just A-links, right?
Yeah.
As long as you have hrefs, everything's an href. Okay, then this is going to work perfect, right? And that's a lot of the paradigm behind building a Gatsby app as well. Like any of these static site contents is you're having to say, hey, everything's just an A tag that links to somewhere else.
Yeah.
So the problem is if you ever wanted to like search your blog posts, then that actually would require some live functionality potentially. You know what I'm saying? And so you'd have to have JavaScript for that kind of stuff. So it gets a little brutal to turn JavaScript off entirely on your web page, but there are a lot of pages you could turn it off for. So what do you guys think?
Very cool.
I dig it.
It's kind of coolish, right?
So if I said, hey, I've got this application and I would love to add server-side rendering to it, would it be fair to say like I could think about adding Scully to it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now, a lot of companies are building like Gatsby apps because they're like, hey, we use Angular, but we're going to Gatsby because we want to pre-render some of this to get SEO and to get our mobile performance up and to get our Lighthouse scores up to 100. Like they're moving to Gatsby for a lot of reasons. And they're moving away from Angular because Angular can't solve those reasons until now. So now you have Scully. So I have a really big client that's asked us to drop in Scully because they have like an industry record setting conversion. Like 6.5% of the people that come to their webpage convert to money, which is insane. Imagine if you had a webpage where 6.5% of the people converted to money. Like that's nuts.
Yeah.
You're basically printing money. Industry best is like 2. These people are like 6.5. The problem is for mobile, they drop off 50%. So 50%, their conversion is 50% lower on mobile. That might be normal, but they're like, dude, we want Scully because we want to see what happens if our page loads in less than 1 second for mobile devices. Dudes, our conversion start to go up towards the desktop levels because if it even went up a tenth of a percent, they've paid for my consulting fee times like 4 or 5 because this is a big company. And so their conversion rate, if I can even have any sort of a dent by improving their mobile load times to less than 1 second by allowing their page to arrive in like 30 or 40K, then their whole story, just this Scully story for them turned into hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like there's some real reasons why you want pre-rendered pages. Then the bigger your company is, the more money you're going to save. I mean, every one of us has seen the Chrome dev team give a talk where they're like, if your page takes longer than 3 seconds to load, you're going to lose this much traffic. And like, and they're like, we've tracked this over time. We know this based on the whole internet that goes through Google, which is the whole internet. And so they know abandon rates based on page load times. And so the bigger your company is, the more you monetize and the more your conversion business depends on conversion, the more this stuff starts to matter to you. Right. And so yeah. So we're right now, and Gatsby has all sorts of numbers, but hey man, these companies make this much more money on us because they use Gatsby. And we're having our first big client, and we committed and we said, hey, we'll only do this if you commit to giving us the data, like telling us how much money and how much your conversion was affected and how much your Lighthouse scores got improved and stuff like that. So we'll have a big study which explains to people, hey, you can expect to have this kind of impact if you're anything like this company. And it's a big e-com company. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, and these kind of things are the kind of things that Gatsby apps all over are looking at. And this is why people, even though they like Angular and React, are staying on WordPress, because WordPress gives them those kind of benefits. So yeah.
But this is both those benefits, the benefits of the loading time and the SEO and everything else, but also the user experience of a front-end application.
Yep. So you still get a spa, but you also get all those SEO and mobile performance enhancements that you're wanting, right? So even the greatest of Angular apps, you run Lighthouse on mobile 3G, and it's just less than phenomenal. And the same with React. Even the greatest React apps in Vue, it's not just Angular. I'm not just finger wagging any specific JavaScript framework. All JavaScript frameworks have the same problem. they don't show anything until the JavaScript bundles have downloaded. And that's a problem, especially when you do Lighthouse and click that mobile 3G button, your Lighthouse just gets pulverized. And so Gatsby, Scully, and things like Angular Universal or WordPress, this is how you solve for that stuff. So Scully is the shortest path and the most money efficient path, in my opinion, to getting this for an Angular project, because you don't have to switch to Universal, which is a massive rewrite. It's just Angular, you know what I'm saying? So it's the cheapest way to get there. And you don't have to worry about in 2 months, is this third-party component we're using going to break Universal? You don't have to worry about that. Like, it just works in Scully.
So I have 2 questions in my head right now. One, since you're using Puppeteer to essentially get the rendered HTML, does that affect anything with cross-browser rendering?
It might. I mean, if like, let's say in your Angular, you have an if and you detect the browser, right? In your Angular, you say if browser is Internet Explorer, and you look for some feature that only exists in Internet Explorer, right? Or Edge or Safari. I'm not trying to single out Internet Explorer.
Yeah.
Sorry. But you detect some browser. Then you're going to get a false on that when you pre-render. And when your app, then when your SPA renders in real time, it would correct it. But your initial page load would be like, oh, this is Chrome.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And there's a couple, open up your app component and I'll add some code real quick. We've added a few things that you can do to kind of detect, what's going on with Scully. So we have an is Scully generated function, and is Scully generated. Sorry, that comes in from here as well. And we have is Scully running as well. And those 2 functions, what they let you do is they let you detect, am I in the Scully generation process right now? Or am I in a post Scully generated page? Because you would do things differently. And then you've got your 3 states. I'm either an ng serve, or I'm being generated right now live by Scully, or I was already generated by Scully. You know what I'm saying? And those are your 3 states. And they're 3 states that you don't normally think about, but you have to start considering when you're using a pre-render like Angular Universal or Gatsby or, even WordPress for that matter. So you do have to kind of start thinking in different life cycles around your app.
So for that would be something that maybe as I'm generating my blog post, maybe I have a commenting component there at the bottom.
Yeah.
When Scully's running, I don't necessarily want to have that rendered.
True. Yeah. So you could have you could be like, hey, this dot show comments is equal to that, right? Simple as that. And then show comments.
Just a simple ngIf in my
and it won't show if you're not in Scully, or if you're being rendered by Scully, it's not going to do that. It's only going to show it if you're already generated. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the kind of things you're going to have to start considering around your different runtime environments, because you get an extra runtime environment that you don't normally have with a Scully or a Universal.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So the other question I have besides the browser was timeline. You mentioned you went alpha right around the holidays. Do you have any timeline, what you're looking at for beta and potentially 1.0 release? Yeah.
So our beta, we really want to be beta by the end of January, like a lot. Like we really, really want to be beta by the end of January. And we're not sure all the features we're going to need, because none of us are from like the Gatsby team, but we're starting to get a lot of feedback. And tonight's good because it's like, why is this so problematic? Why does the Scully not find the servers 1 out of 3 times or 2 out of 3 times? Like, so we're just trying to harden all those alpha bugs. Our goal is to be beta by the end of January, so people can be like, all right, let's start getting serious. And then maybe RC closer to March because there's a big event at the beginning of April that we'd like to do a 1.0 at. So yeah.
You want to hand stickers out at that, right?
It would be cool to have t-shirts and stuff for people who write plugins at that event, right? So yeah. So that's kind of the timeline. I mean, obviously that's idealistic. That's hopes, right? But this solves. Sorry, go ahead.
The event you mentioned. Can we talk about that real quick? Because I want to plug something.
Yeah.
First of all, my shirt.
Your shirt, yeah.
I got my NG Golf shirt. But no, you and I, Frosty.
We're doing a sesh.
Yeah, we are. Not just a session, a work
session.
2-day sesh, yeah. Yeah, we're doing a 2-day observable workshop.
Observables, yes, sir.
You excited?
Dude, I'm so excited. I love talking observables.
Yeah, I love observables. It's gonna be cool. Yvonne, are you coming? I know that Wrangle's coming. Are you coming? Yvonne's at Wrangle, right?
Right now?
Okay, Yvonne's gonna come again. Yeah, tickets are on sale. Yeah, plenty of tickets left. The New Year's here. The talks are being selected this weekend. Like Jorge flies in on Friday. Kim Maida flies in on Friday. Kim is our community. We have a couple community experts coming in to like help us so that it's not biased. So Kim's coming in this time. For those of you who don't know Kim, I mean, I don't know. Once you know her, you'll know she's awesome. But
so
trust me.
We're doing talk selections this weekend,
Saturday,
which is 3 days away.
Yeah.
So we're talking like express shipping for bribes.
Yes. Yeah, 2-day.
That's not how it works.
You're going to want to do 2-day shipping on presents for Kim right now.
That's not how the force works.
You just have to Aaron Frost at Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yeah. Kim Maida, Aaron Frost. That's what you're going to want to do. Then they'll be here when on time.
Wait, who else? Sorry, Kim's
going to be there. Owen's going to be there. Jorge's going to be there. I'm going to be there. Joe's going to be there. Brooke is going to be there. I think that's about it.
Dude, our pictures are up next to our videos.
Yeah.
Over there.
Hey. Wait, what am I? What's up, bro? That's Mike and me over there.
It is huge.
Yeah. And that's me. That's me pointing back at me while I point at the other end.
And there's that big blue register button right there that people need to click on.
Yeah, click on that thing. It's going to be cool, man. It's going to be big. This is the first Angular conference where Ivy was new. There's never been a conference where you can say Ivy's out now for the first time. And this will be the first one of those. It's going to be big. It's a floodgate of features are going to start to happen once Ivy's out. And NGConf is where you're going to go to kind of get up to speed on that. Like, hey, you want to be the expert on Ivy on your team? This is the conference where, you can be the expert on Ivy, which kind of sets you up for a long future of being an expert on your team. So NGConf is a big conference this year. Beyond the fact that it's always a fantastic, huge event, there's some added benefits of being at the first conference where Ivy was like on the ground, So yeah, definitely come. Tell your friends about it. Brock and I will be there. Schwarty's sounds like he's likely to be in attendance.
Yeah, I'm going to be there.
Yeah. So yeah. That's a thing. That's what's happening.
I'm excited.
So yeah, that's the timeline for Scully though.
I like it.
Yeah. Did you guys feel like you learned anything about Jamstack and the importance of like doing static site rendering for Angular?
I'll go. Absolutely. There's a lot to consider with static site rendering as well. I wasn't so aware of the fact that Angular is still getting bootstrapped to be able to have the site be dynamic as you are clicking through the site.
Yeah. One thing we didn't show is the transfer state capability. And
that's what I was talking about. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah. So you can say in your code, am I running in Scully? Because if I am, I want to go to the API and get this data. And then once I get it, I want to save it to the page, to the HTML. And then you can say, but if I'm already generated through Scully, don't get the data from the API, get it out of the HTML. You know what I'm saying? And we make that as simple as 2 function calls. Like you can say, like, hey, am I running in? What state am I in? Get the data from the appropriate state. You don't have to worry about save it to the HTML. You just call set state. And you don't have to worry about get it from the HTML. You just call get state.
Cool.
So it's very easy. You don't have to worry about anything. You just set state, get state. And then it also takes care of, now that the app is dynamic. So the initial page load, now you're on the second route.
Mhm.
When you click on that route, it's like, aha, go get the data from that indexed HTML page over there and bring it into the page now for the next route. So it kind of takes care of all this dynamic-y pieces of static pages as well, because that is a weird world to walk around in, right? To figure out how to, but we try and take care of that for you. So we've already built some really cool stuff, and I have some demos. I think I need to do a Twitch about it. I think I need to do a live demo again about the transfer state, because that's kind of the newest thing we've added that we haven't really shown off. But yeah, so the transfer state, and we call it transfer state because that's what Universal calls it. It's transfer state.
Yeah.
It's state that you got at build time and you want to transfer down to the client for runtime. This is the same exact concept. So you're getting it at Scully build, transferring it to the browser run. Yeah, so that's all it is. It's very, very cool stuff.
That's cool.
But again, I mean, I heard Jamstack for years, and I was like, I don't care. I'm an Angular developer. Screw this Jamstack. I like spas. Yo, don't come at me with your Jamstack. What does Jam even mean? That's a stupid name, and it is still a stupid name. But I understand the value that stack provides, and I did it before. So this next 12 months for me is getting up on stage and dancing and showing people, oi, this is what this is. This is cool. I didn't think it was until I learned it. And I hope you can hear me and think, oh yeah, this is cool. And I think this is going to set off a wave in the Angular community, because in React, Gatsby's just exploding.
Yeah.
The React community is like, and here's the thing. Gatsby isn't just React. It's a specific flavor of React. Like they're funneling you down, they're corralling you down a path, much like Universal corrals you down a path. And so your hands are kind of tied. Once we support React, which hopefully is hopefully by May, will be an even easier build system to integrate with than Gatsby is. So it's going to be very, very powerful what we're building.
That's cool.
Are you
It's going
going
to
to
make big waves.
React outside of Angular, or are you also going in or for other front-end frameworks as well?
So once we support React, we should have support for Vue and Ember as well, like and Svelte. Like once we say we don't care, once we uncouple us from Angular and we say we don't care, then we should be good. So yeah.
You know,
And sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say it would be interesting too to kind of take some time to dive in at some point and look at how you implemented the plugin system. I think that's something that would be fascinating for people to kind of figure out. Like, how do you build your own plugin system? Like, if I'm building a library or an app, or even my own app, like how could I think about architecting a plugin system, right?
Yeah, I think
Plugins are
that's
so
twofold.
easy.
I think it's one, hey, let's dig into writing some Scully plugins, and then two, just that, like you said, that whole architecture of, hey, I want to support plugins for something that I'm writing. How do I go about doing that?
Yeah. I would love to do another one of these with you, gents, where we build a couple plugins, and we could do something as simple as replace parenthesis with an actual smiley. Like that could be the only plugin we like. This is it, right? And then we keep it like, hey, what if I have a user ID in my route param? How do I teach it to get user IDs from my database? Because maybe my database is something that doesn't exist, Paradox, or I don't even know. Like, name your database system,
Right.
and it doesn't exist, and I need to build one of these things. How do I do it? It's so simple. Make a thing that returns a promise, and that promise just eventually has to give back the IDs I need. Like, that's it. It's so stupid simple. It's
Well,
just,
that's interesting. What you doing next Wednesday?
I would love to. Let's do it. You guys want to book me in? We'll do Scully plugins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
So someone's asking, does Scully support GraphQL? So we don't force you to learn GraphQL to work with Scully. So if you can query GraphQL and return a promise, then yeah, we integrate with promises, right? Our interface isn't GraphQL like Gatsby. I think I think that was a weakness of Gatsby, to be honest. They talk about it as a strength, but you have to learn GraphQL to build a plugin for Gatsby. For Scala, you just have to learn what promises are, and then find some node library that talks to the API you want, and return a promise from your function that calls that API. You know what I'm saying? Like, so much simpler. So much simpler. So we don't force you to work with GraphQL. No, we do though, right? As long as you have a function that calls GraphQL, boom, done. It's it. I care zero what's happening inside your plugin as long as you return a promise that has something in it. That's all I care about.
Do you have? Is there a timeout limit for your plugins?
No, not yet. Yeah, it's alpha, but yeah, I mean, we're probably gonna run into that, right? But like, so the other day I wrote a plugin where I have to call the Marvel API because my app, I need to pre-render all the characters in the Marvel API. I have one route for each one of them. And then inside those routes, I pre-render like all their comics that they're in and all the other stuff about the Marvel characters. And the API only gives me in chunks of 100. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to call this thing recursively until I've got them all. And once I've got them all, then I return in the way. And so it was really simple. It's just, and I was too lazy to even do an HTTP. So I just found some node module that it's called Marvel-API. So I was like, dude, I'm definitely not writing my own. And I just did Marvel API and I recursively call that till I got them all and I'm done. So yeah, I mean, as long as you know how to do a promise and you don't call resolve until you got all the data you need, then and anyone should be able to do that, what I just said,
Nice.
then you're good. So yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
Take it.
Yep. And then, sorry, I added a feature this week called extra routes. So like, let's say you're in an Angular app with AngularJS hybrid going too. So some of the routes aren't discoverable by guest.js, right? Maybe you have foo/foo ID, and that's in AngularJS. That's not in Angular. So I add this extra routes piece so you can define all your non-Angular routes as well. So like if you have React routes or AngularJS routes or whatever routes, you can specify those separately as well in your Scala config. So, and that you can specify as hard-coded strings with the parameter in it, or you can do a promise. So if you store those in a database, or you discover those through this crawling the file system yourself because you're a genius and you crawled your code and found your routes. However, I don't know how you did it, but you did it, right? You just return a promise with an array of those things. So like, yeah, we've tried to make that also very extensible and very interop through promises as well. So it's going to be cool. Once the docs catches up to the features and the stability catches up to the vision, it's going to be really, really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I'm happy you guys let me come on and talk to you about it because I value your guys' opinion. And I don't know, Codephobia seems smart. I know Yvonne also seems very smart from Twitter. I'm happy that they're here and they're validating kind of the vision because this is a really, really cool direction.
Codephobia hangs out with us a bunch, and we appreciate them hanging out with us.
Cool. Who's Codephobia?
I do not know his name.
Oh.
Or her name. Their name.
Your name. Yeah.
I'm excited about the fact that, the markdown support and stuff like that. Like over the several years, I can't tell you how many times I started, I'm going to build an Angular blog framework because I want it for my own site. And then I abort because I'm like, I don't want to spend all that time doing it. And then I wish there was something out there. No, okay, I'll start building it. And so now it feels like finally I'm stoked on this because it's got that and it's got markdown support. Yeah. So it's awesome.
You're there. You're like, we're on the doorstep of this big thing. Like we're holding hands on the edge of a cliff of what's about to happen to the Angular community when they realize how awesome static sites. And we're all staring over that cliff and we don't even know what's down there. It's really exciting though.
Yeah. But like you mentioned at the get-go, not every application needs to be a static site.
Nope. I mean, if you're behind a login, out, stop, go the other way. Don't do this. Right. But if you have some stuff that's public, then let's start talking about it, right?
But what about stuff that's like, I've got a page that every time somebody goes to it, it's for like a user to load up their specific experience, right? Not behind a login, but also unique to whatever, part of the URL data that comes in needs to load up something specific at that point, right? That wouldn't really be something that you're going, okay, I want to rebuild in that sort of scenario. I just need it to dynamically load that, right?
Yeah. So there's pieces like, so if you're like, let's say that like that hero thing I was building where the route, I wanted to have the hero in the route data already. Well, if I'm lazy and I don't want to build the hero into the page, I want to fetch the hero at runtime. You can totally dynamically get data still. Like this is ultimately just a spa, right? And the same thing with Universal. With Universal, if you pre-render it on the server and then deliver that pre-rendered HTML to the client, but then you tell the client, hey, you go get the data too. So dynamically also, I want you to get the data. You're going to have a little flicker where you see the rendered stuff and then Angular takes it away and then repaints it. You're going to get a flicker the same way you would with Universal. And Scully does the exact same thing, right? But you can totally do it. You can stay super dynamic as well.
But with Universal, like, let's say I had a token in my URL.
Okay.
And the token had some user data that it needs to fetch at that given moment that the request is made, right?
Yep.
It's like I'm in Universal and I say the server side is going to take that token and then query the database at the time of request. So if it's requested 2 days from now or whatever, I deployed today right now, and 5 days from now, a URL request comes in with that token, and Universal side does the fetching of the data and then sets the HTML, sends it back, already done, right?
Yep.
Scully,
you would
do that.
You
right?
would have an Angular piece that finds the token and then says, aha, a token, call the backend with this.
But that would have to be done, but that would be separate from Scully, right? Because Scully's building that static content to be as is, pre-rendered at the point I build it.
Yeah, that would be.
So 5 days from now, it'd be the same thing, right? Scully's out of the picture because we don't have a node server.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you came to me with a page that had a link on it, like a ? Token equals 1, right? Like at the end of your URL, the page will be statically generated by Angular. And then that token on the end, Scully wouldn't do anything with that. Scully would be like, I don't care. I'm done with that token, right? Like, I don't know what it is. But your Angular could care, and your Angular could say, I know what that is. Like, I'm definitely going to take that token out of the URL and go do a thing with it. So yeah, you could, it would work differently, but you could do the exact same functionality.
It'd be different architecture that you'd be implementing, right? You'd be saying, right. Yeah. I'm delivering a starting stuff, and then I'm having Angular on the client side do the fetching and calling endpoints or whatnot, versus say with Universal has the option, if I'm understanding correctly, Universal has the option to say, I could offload that work to the server side when that request is made.
Yeah, you would.
Right.
I mean, if you're doing that with Universal, the request comes in with a token in the URL, you definitely say, a token, cool, build the page differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking in terms of use cases, like, because there's a lot of stuff that's compelling. It's like, I would just use Scully instead of Universal, but what would be the case where you'd still think about using Universal, right? Where Scully doesn't meet that need yet. And this is, I think, one of them.
It's just all architecture. It's the same thing. Like, okay, so let's just talk about this. Let's say I email them a discount ID, right? So like I give them the URL to my website, ? discount equals some hash, right? If that was a Universal page, I'd look at the discount. I'd say, hey, to check in the MySQL database to see if that discount's a valid discount. Has it been used? Like whatever. If it's not, then generate this version of the web page, right? If it has been, then generate the other version of the web page. Like, I don't really know. You know what I'm saying? And then send that down to the client. With Angular, you'd be like, send down the page that was pre-rendered 5 days ago. There's a discount ID there, though. Call the server and see if this is a valid thing. And then server would do all the same ish that it was going to do the other way, the Universal way. Is it valid? Has it been used yet? Whatever. And then send back down that's a valid discount code. Okay, then your Angular goes, all right, I'm going to show you the discount section of the website and tell you you're good to go, right? Or whatever. So,
and I think that's the kind of the concept of the Jamstack sort of thing that you get into now, where it's like in the Jamstack world, you're delivering static stuff from 5 days ago, and then it's calling services or whatever it needs at that point to get additional stuff, right?
I mean, and that's just a spa, what you just described, but you have the option of not calling the server. That's the new thing. Is we've always called the server in a spa land. We've always been like, oh, get the data from the server at runtime. That's always been Spa's bread and butter. But now you have the option of only getting some of it from the server, right? Only the secure bits, right? Like discounts, making sure that that's a secure piece. Put that on the server still, right? Authentication, that all still belongs on the server. You'd never do that in like a pre-rendered Scully. It's not even possible. So yeah, I mean, you just have to understand what you're doing and where that fits in the stack.
Right.
Yeah. So good questions though. Lots of questions though.
Yeah, we did just have a flurry of them. What do we got to catch up on
I
here?
was reading a lot on it, but Codephobia had a really good example. So like a large set of data that you want to be able to filter on different data sets or different criteria that doesn't necessarily fit into the paradigm of Scully, but works really well in the universal aspect.
Yeah.
Server-side rendering.
So large amounts of data that you want to query. There you go. That does not work well in Scully. That does work well in Universal, and it also works well in just Angular. So on that part of your website, if you were doing Scully, on that part, you wouldn't try and cache that data. You would let that page be dynamic searchable that calls the API to do search, right? So that would still just be Angular. But for like a product page that had the specific sunglasses you were trying to purchase, you could cache all the content about the sunglasses right in that indexed HTML when you pre-render it. But like all the sunglasses on your whole website, maybe there's 10,000 of them, I don't know, that you wouldn't try and cache. Like that would be imagine if you had 2 megs of sunglasses. That's stupid. Why would you try and cache that? Like you just, Scully now is slower than an Angular app at that point. So you wouldn't try and do that page as a pre-cache page. But yeah. Does that make sense? Right? Like everything's not a nail and everything's not a hammer. Like you gotta use it when you need it. And if Angular is better, do Angular. If Scully does better, do Scully. And the same with Universal. If Universal is better, do it Universal. If Universal doesn't, don't. So yeah.
So let me ask you this other piece. So by default, Scully will go through and find all of my routes and potentially some of the dynamic routes as well, with the idea of the blog post piece. If I didn't want it to do one of those routes, if I didn't want it to do, say, the about route, because I've got whatever or some other processing that I don't want it to happen, how would I go about excluding?
So we wrote this today. It's called the Void plugin, and you can say void and it will void out routes for you.
Okay.
So you can say, but on your about page, what you would do, because here's a fact. You don't want, when you get searched, crawled through SEO, you don't want your about to be an empty page that then Google has to like take forever to index, right? It has to download all your JavaScript. You would want your about to generate as much, to show as much as it can besides the goods that you need to be dynamic at runtime. And so you would have a, am I in Scully? Like show this type thing. And you would do that same kind of flag setting to say, pre-render this much, but this has to be dynamic. And then at that point, everything that has to be dynamic, you'd say that runs dynamically at runtime on the client. And if it calls the APIs, however it would be. And so Codephobia has kind of said the same thing. I'm working on a real estate website, and the listing page itself makes sense to do with Scully. But the searching makes more sense for Universal. I don't know that it does, because Universal would have to do a full page load in order to do it through Universal. The full searching of like an MLS or a real estate website, that just needs to be a dynamic page. I mean, imagine you're on a website and you want to do it through Universal, and you type in the search bathtub or pool, I don't know, whatever you're searching, right? You guys know. And imagine if you hit search and it did a full page load like you were in 2000 again. Like that would be jarring. Like that's not a good use case for Universal either. That's not a good use case for Scully either. You would want that tag to do a dynamic spa type JavaScript interaction. You would never want that to be a universal render. So to kind of to your point, Mike, to Codephobia's large data sets, dynamic data sets that need a query, do that as a JavaScript spa. Run that as a JavaScript spa page. Render as much of it as you can pre-rendered, but the pieces that are dynamic, that's going to be dynamic, and there's nothing we're going to change about that. You know what I'm saying? But like the actual listing pages for the MLS or for the real estate properties themselves, pre-render those 24/7, right? Like that's exactly what this is for. So yeah.
I dig it.
Anyway, so I think we're all talking the same thing though, and your guys' eyes, I'm watching your eyes open the same way mine did. I was like, when I first started learning, I was like, holy shit, there's some optimizations in here I didn't even know would exist. So yeah, it's really powerful.
I like that.
Yeah,
I'm excited now for next week. So because I'm into tomorrow now. I'm in January 9th now.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Sorry.
No, we're good. We've gone later than this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say this though. I really appreciate you guys letting me come on and talk about this. I'm more passionate about it than I probably should be. I'm really excited about this stuff.
No.
And I'm excited to watch the Angular community change. So I appreciate you guys letting me be like, oi, I'm crashing yield stream. So yeah.
You're coming back next week too, because we're gonna write some plugins.
Yeah.
Please. We'll start with the smiley face plugin and then we'll move on from there. Is that cool?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
We'll touch base offline whether or not we want to set up an application beforehand or anything like that.
Yeah. I have one that we can use.
Okay.
And I can share with you gents, and then we can go from there. And we can actually share with all the users if they kind of want to follow us on or whatever. But yeah, let's do that.
Sounds good.
Okay. Awesome.
Happy New Year, everyone. We let off that, but hey, Happy New Year, everyone is watching.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we out.
We be out.
Oh, we gotta plug our stuff, right?
Plug it.
Think about that. Where's our things here? Banners. There we go. Let's see. That.
Yeah.
We've got our Twitter handles down there, right?
Absolutely.
Frosty, what's yours?
Aaron Frost.
Right.
Aaron Frost.
Update time.
You're good. Don't add me.
But
Don't
I think
add me.
then you just have your name Frosty. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Aaron Frost. They'll get me if they need me.
Cool. That was cool. Next week, build plugin.
Plugins.
All right.
Okay. It's gonna be cool. Peace.
Thanks
Later.
again.